I should think about going out to the belt and creating stuff. Okay, so are those there? Or no, they cleared them. These are here. I am very hurt for some reason. Now my mana's lower, and this chunks it.
Warp drive active.
Bandit caster needs to die first. So we're gonna bandage the two pigs and send them in. Here we go. Bandage. Bandage. Kill the caster. We're getting better at killing 4 of them. Oh, you fucking asshole. Just get him. That's fine. Fucking asshole. Oh, they were scoundrels? Damn it, they weren't bandits. Damn it. Oh, no, that one was. That one was. Did you get him? Yeah, I think you did. Come back. Let him go in any event. Yep. I want you to come back in case something bad happens. Yep. Like somebody comes here and tries to gank me. Which has happened before, you know? Yeah, I don't want that, but yeah, get it off me. Yes, and nice. I pulled the Cuban ring, which is good. That's good loot. So let's see. Did you get this asshole down here? You should have. Yeah, they did. They did. So now, am I done with this task? No, nope. Oh, a razor was hit by a scoundrel. Oh. I can't. I want you to come down. Oh, come back. Oh. Okay. Fun as hell. The fights are so fun, actually. The fights are fun when you have help. I don't need other people. I need the pets. The pets. I need the strongest pets I can get, basically. And if I can have something tank for me, I can just stab it in the back of the head like that, and it's over for them. If I spear you in the back of the fucking head, that is gonna be like half of your goddamn health bar, mob or player. You know. I think the same will be true of a player. If I sick these pets at them, they'll have to turn and fight, and I'm going to run behind them and just stab them in the back, right? Over and over again, like, or in the sides. Yep. It'll be hard and it'll be technical, but I mean, like, and I'll lose pets a lot. I'll probably lose pets a lot. I'm going to get attached to these pigs, and that's bad. You know, it's bad. Anyways, I need 3 more, do I? Yeah, I need 3 more, so take me back up there now. Yeah. Alright, so... Oh, gotta be careful where I'm running. Oh no, what'd you do? Oh, there we go. Okay, so gotta get back up the hill. They're actually really good mounts. They get their stand back fucking fast. So, hey, there's a bandit spawn. Yay. These are back is hurt. These are back. A's are back. Fight! Oh, he's low. It's that other bandit. He came back. They're gonna win. And he's gonna run down the slope. Again, it's so stupid. You are so annoying. Yeah. Great. Now I have to go down the fucking cliff again. Oh, no, I don't. Yay. Look at this. Yeah, can we go back up? Yeah, like, take me back up. Yeah, take me back up. What about you? Can I mount you? Oh, nope. I have fallen. That is all right. They really want you to come down it. It's fine. It's fine. Oh no! Get on. Get on. Get on. Please. Please get on. Please get on. Please get on. Get on. Oh god. Nice. They didn't want me. I don't know why they didn't want me. I'm easy pickings, but they didn't want me. This game's addictive once you start to fall in love with it. It's such a beautiful day. I really don't want to miss it, really. Maybe I should go back to town and come back for these again. I think I will. I'll go back to town now. Ugh. I'm gonna go out in the sun. I know that I am. And one of the beautiful things I can do is I can just pause the recording, kill the stream, and come right back to it. And I'm gonna go out there for like 2 hours in the sun because it's like one of the most beautiful days of the summer. And I don't want to miss it. I'm not going to miss it, and I don't have to. I'm gonna pause right here. Did I go out? Yeah, I did. So go back to the base. Dock.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, it definitely is like one of the most beautiful days of the year. I'm not going to miss it. I can see it. It's like right out my fucking front door. I'm going out there. Get off this Razorback. Off. Okay, so... what do? We take all
Docking
of your
permission
stuff
requested.
off
Docking request
that,
accepted.
and you... and... let's see the bags before you put them in. Okay, these for... Then we come, we take the bags off them. And we love our beloved pigs. Oh, we're gonna feed them. Feed. And I guess I'll slow walk to put them away, and then I will just log, or I could just log right here. It doesn't matter. This was a dumb idea, I guess. I kind of want to put a pig bag back on and have them carry this meat. Oops. Yeah, I want you to carry this meat. It's too heavy. There we go. Okay, so now, well, really, I have to put the meat away. So let's put the one that's not. Okay, that's okay. Azerback has stuff. I'm gonna ride him. Honestly, I can just safe log here. There's really no reason to put him away. Well, I have all this stuff. I guess I'll go drop that. Oops. Ooh, real bandages. Okay, I believe that's good. I don't want to store all this stuff, so I'm just gonna have it. I'm just gonna keep a pig that I'm riding, but I will always put the other pig away. Yeah, we'll put this away for the other pig. Okay, let's go log on Azer back here. I like having two pigs because sometimes they share the damage, and then it's actually so overpowered. Okay, so we quit here. Yep. And thank you so much for paying attention to me, guys. If you've been watching Mortal 2, I'm going to take a hour and a half to 2. Well, it's probably going to be more like an hour and a half. It might be too hot to be out there that long, but I'm going to be out there as long as I can stand, and that might be as long as 2.5 hours. It might be as short as maybe an hour and 15 minutes, depending on if I stop at 45 minutes or an hour and a half. I've got a cut on my heel that's slowly healing, but it's still there, and I'm very cognizant of it, and so I can't really eviscerate this cut, so I may be back here in like an hour. It might be 2 hours, something like that. Just a reminder, you've been watching Skycat Live. I'm going to go outside in the sun and touch grass today and exercise in the sun here, do some running on the road. And thank you so much for the time, and I want to say thank you for paying attention to me. If you gave me a like, sub, or follow today, I appreciate that. I haven't seen anybody, but yep. And so now we'll be back here to do some more solo Mortal 2 and EvE and FFXI, and later tonight I'll do some Skyrim SE modded on top of it, I think. And so I will pause this recording here. Hi guys, I'm back. Just got done walking. Walked for about an hour and a half, and then I took a shower and ate lunch, and now I'm ready to get back to work. And here we are. I'm going to just get on the tablet here. No, I suppose the stream hasn't started yet, but the recording has. The stream will start in 74 seconds, and a little worn out after walking for so long, but we'll see how I do. It'll be a lazy day for me. I'm gonna sit back, tune out to something, and listen to something. Now my pet. Oh yeah, my pet. A lot of people. I left the saddle, I guess. I didn't think that I left the saddle, but I guess I did. Saddle, saddle, saddle. Leather horse bags. Where's the saddle? Damn it, that saddle was expensive. Leather horse bags. Oh, where's this saddle at? Oh, the saddle disappeared. What's that? What's with that, man? I know, let's go look. Yeah, don't kill my pig. I've got to buy a saddle, or not a saddle, but a bag. Pet equipment, pet bags for razor, or razor, is it razor? Razor back, and it's large razorback bags, yep. Okay, so... What the fuck? I'm stuck. Damn it. What? There we go. Ugh, so annoying. Oh, I don't know where it is that we're... Oh, I'm going back west, aren't I? Yeah, back to get the last few bandits. Yeah. This might be a bad time to play. Prime time, I might just get wrecked. I don't know. I don't know. We'll go see. Oh, there's the other goddamn bear bag. Or razorback bag. I was like, where is it? Gotta remember to check my damn pet inventories. I wish they would just consolidate all the damn bags. That's all good. Oh. There's that goddamn roadblock. Someone's farming this. Damn. Someone is currently farming that. Which is indeed annoying. I guess I will go down below out of Apex where I'm unlikely to be seen. Yep, like right here. I think it's okay. Oops. Damn, I'm gonna let the day end. Oh, wow.
Fast food chains and businesses across 9 states. After being caught and sentenced to prison, the Roofman escaped and assumed a new identity, leading a double life in the local church community. He committed armed robberies, burned down a dentist's office before being arrested yet again. With a perpetually monotonous life and the possibility of escaping again, the Roofman's true identity remains something of a mystery, leading some to speculate that the original culprit is actually still at large. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Casual Criminalist. As always, I'm your host Simon. Welcome. The format of this show is, well, today we're covering The Roofman, as you just heard in the introduction. The format of the show, I have no idea what this is about. Danny has written me a script. I'm going to read it, and Jen, a wonderful editor, is going to edit this. Let's just jump in, shall we?
A charming bandit who lived in a toy store.
He was a member of the local church. He had a steady relationship, and he was known for his generosity in handing out expensive new toys to children. But by night, John Zorn was the fugitive criminal mastermind known as Roofman. The trouble with Roofman is that it's difficult to fully pin down his contradictory character. The serial armed robber who once lived in a toy store was part Santa Claus, part Robin Hood, part Peter Pan, part Megamind, and part Easter Bunny. And although he made a brief appearance on America's Most Wanted, the gentleman bandit appears to attract a surprising level of respect from the police, as well as his corporate targets, and even the innocent customers caught up in his meticulously planned raids. It's not often the police say nice things about wanted criminals who've just escaped from prison, and it's not that often that we get to say nice things about villainous subjects of the Casual Criminalist. No, but it's a bloody nice break, because I'll tell you what, this is the second episode of Casual Criminalist I've recorded today. You know what the first one I recorded today? Jared Fogle from Subway, as in the guy who did horrible things and then ended up in prison. That guy. So this is very nice for me, because Jared's. But this guy was a bona fide genius with an affable and considerate character. He might even be considered by some to be a bit of a legend. We're allowed to say that because he never set a hedgehog on fire or bludgeoned anyone to death with a sledgehammer. In fact, on the whole, he was surprisingly chivalrous and non-violent for an armed robber. But the gun-wielding Roofman was still certainly a very different guy to the church-going John Zorn. Although John Zorn had settled down in North Carolina by the year 2000, the story of Roofman begins a couple of years earlier, and a couple of thousand miles east in Sacramento County, California. By 1998, trying to order a Big Mac from McDonald's anywhere in this region was proving to be a bit of a health risk. Isn't ordering a Big Mac a health risk anyway? Couldn't resist it. Are you looking for a delicious way to support your wellness routine? Well, look no further than Athletic Greens and AG1. With just one scoop a day, what you do is you take it out of this thing, you use the scoop, you put it into there with some water and you shake it up, and they are combining 9 essential health products into one simple and convenient serving. Say goodbye to multiple pills and products and hello to comprehensive daily nutrients and gut health support. They've got a whole list of them on the back there. It's so many. Look, what I do in the morning, I put it in here, I shake it up, I have it along with my coffee when I get to work, and it's just a good time. I feel like it gives me that little bit of sustained energy boost from the coffee, so it's not just, it's not just caffeine, it's all of the stuff that's actually good for me, makes up all of those holes in my life that I absolutely know I have. It tastes great. It's kind of like, they told me in the talking points it's got a pineapple flavour, and I've been trying to put my finger on the flavour of Athletic Greens forever. It's kind of just like sweet and good, and like, it looks very green, but it tastes good, and it's apparently pineapple and vanilla. And I'm like, I taste the pineapple. I'm not sure. Yeah, there could be some vanilla in there, I suppose. It's sweet. It tastes good. That's what you need to know. So look, why not give AG1 a try today? If you order through my link below, what you're going to do is you order the AG1 and get the shaker and all that good stuff.
Thank you, the Casual Criminalist. I'd like to sub to your channel. Thank you for the excellent content for my stream. I'd like to sub to your channel.
Of their travel packs. So these are good when you're travelling out on the road, whatever. 5 of those, and also a year's supply of vitamin D, which is fantastic, isn't it? So grab yourself the canister and the shaker and make AG1 a part of your daily routine. Just 1 scoop, 1 minute, once a day, and it's that easy to support your whole body health with AG1. Refrigerate after opening for best results. Oh yeah, keep this stuff in the fridge once you've opened it. Try AG1 now and feel the difference it makes in your daily life. There's a link below. And now back to today's video. But not because of the amount of calories in a double patty Big Mac yet.
Ganker coming.
Same joke there. Not a surprise, really is. It's pretty obvious. But because there was always a lingering thread that Roofman might just be waiting in the wings while you were trying to enjoy an Egg McMuffin. And whenever Roofman showed up, you knew you were in for something of an extended visit to McDonald's. Unlike most armed criminals, Roofman didn't just randomly barge through the door waving around a weapon. As you might be able to guess from the name, Roofman decided to descend from above, like Ronald McDonald's manic evil twin. He usually struck as the restaurant was opening in the morning or preparing to close in the evening, so the risk-averse customer would be better off ordering their Happy Meals at around lunchtime. Well, this was in the late 90s, so there's definitely still more cash around, right? Why would you strike in the morning? It's like, I don't know, I worked in a shop. In the morning, there's just a float in the till. It's like a few quid, maybe a couple £100. At the end of the day, it's stacked fat with cash. Always do your robberies at the end of the shift. Roofman would have already prepared long in advance for his surprise visit by discreetly hacking or sawing or drilling a hole through the roof of the restaurant. He would then clamber down into the interior via the use of ropes before covering all of his tracks and nipping to the restroom where he'd hide until what he considered to be the precise perfect moment to pounce. Then, wearing a mask or bandana to presumably disguise his true mild-mannered identity, Roofman would make his presence known by pointing a semi-automatic handgun at the employees and customers, ordering them all to get inside the walk-in freezer or back room, and then cleaning out the cash registers before quickly making his exit through a back door. Over the course of around 2 years, the Roofman struck at least 60 times, taking around a couple of $1,000 on each visit. A couple of $1,000 does seem like very little money for armed robbery, which is years and years in prison. It seems like the risk to reward ratio is just too low. Why not rob, like, I don't know, a store with a bit more money? Like, a store that sells TVs. Or a bank. Banks have more security. Or just rob a store that has more cash turning over. How much cash does McDonald's really have? It can't be that. Most people do spend a lot of money at McDonald's. Like, it's very busy. I don't know. Maybe this is why he did it. Maybe this is the most cash-heavy business. During that time, he gradually expanded his operations across 9 states, including Nevada, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and Massachusetts, as repeatedly robbing the exact same branches of McDonald's in Sacramento County every week might just have made his movements slightly predictable. And although his sights were set on McDonald's for most of his misdeeds, he did very occasionally branch out into other rooftop robberies such as Burger King, Blockbuster, Toys R Us, and Mondays. But whilst the whole concept of armed robbery might be frowned upon in some quarters, it has to be said that Roofman was very polite and considerate to his victims. He wasn't the type to scream at everyone to get down on the floor if they didn't want to get hurt. Admittedly, he did have to assert his authority on some level, otherwise the employees would probably just snap at him to get back in the queue and stop mucking about. Roofman usually indicated he meant business by firing off a few shots into a wall, but once he felt confident that he'd got everyone to talk, he was surprisingly cordial, displaying impeccable manners and genuine consideration for his victims. Before politely asking everyone to get in the wall, he always made sure that they had
Fuck, man.
first, that they would kill Nippy or capture this cold. Even please, that's nothing, do they? Roofman, like, identify him, he's British. 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 Roofman, like, identify him, he's Ruthman also joked around with everyone to try and lighten the mood, pointing out to the employees that at least they'd probably get the rest of the day off. The victims wouldn't be left inside the walk-in freezer for very long. Anyway, upon leaving the scene of the crime, the first thing Ruthman would do when he felt it got clear was call the police and inform them that a bunch of people needed to be let out of the cooler. You never saw that level of consideration with Bonnie and Clyde. Ruthman's copybook wasn't entirely bot-free, though. During one hold-up of a branch of McDonald's in Sacramento, he resorted to pistol whipping one of the employees. I had no idea what pistol whipping meant for the longest period. I literally found out maybe a year ago that it means to smack someone in the face with a gun. So, I don't know what I imagined. Like some sort of whip attached to the end of the gun that you'd whoosh someone with, but no, it just means to smack someone in the face with a gun. Who knew? Everybody except for me, apparently. This might sound a bit brutal and out of character, but it was in direct response to a surprise attack from the employee who had managed to sneak up behind him and strike him over the head with a bucket. This was obviously not something Ruthman could just laugh off, and his attempt to reassert his authority didn't leave the employee with any serious injuries. But, violent retaliations aside, what are you doing, employee? If you're getting armed robbed, it's not your money. Just chill out. Just be like, yeah, sure, take it. Take it and leave. He's there for the money. He's not there to murder. Murder would escalate the crime into something a lot more serious. If he doesn't have to kill anyone. He doesn't want to kill anyone. He just wants the money. Just let them take the money and leave. And I've told this story before when I worked in that shop and they were like, if someone tries to rob the place, let them rob the place. Do not press the alarm. Just do exactly what they want.
Don't be a hero, Dave.
And it's always my response was like, yeah, I mean, obviously. But odd violent retaliations aside, Ruthman's generally cordial behaviour and cunning tactics appeared to inspire a weird level of respect from his victims and the police. Mike Van Winkle, spokesman for the California Department of Justice, told the press he's businesslike and focused and very serious about what he does, but many of those he's robbed have been struck by what a nice, decent guy he seems to be. A real gentleman. McDonald's even adopted a bizarre, comical response to the long chain of armed robberies, noting that we may have a real hamburglar on our hands. He likes us. He's very brand loyal, and we work hard to build that loyalty. Are they turning this into a marketing opportunity? For a couple of grand, it's honestly probably worth it. I'm not sure that all the McDonald's customers and employees who got shoved into a walk-in freezer would have entirely appreciated the humour, and McDonald's later took the matter a little more seriously when they stumped up a reward of $10,000 for information leading to his arrest. They probably only felt this change of heart when they discovered to their dismay that Ruthman had been robbing branches of Burger King on the side. That two-timing scoundrel. But it's the reaction from the police that raises the biggest eyebrow. Instead of adopting the usual official stance of, we're going to nail this son of a... They seem to prefer to point out how Ruthman was pretty impressive at his job. Yeah, also police pointing out how good a criminal is just like, wait, so just... he's only good because you can't catch him. He's like, no, he's a master criminal. Criminal mastermind, robbing McDonald's. And it's true that the Ruthman had been quite ingenious in turning his criminal operations into a fine art. Even though he was robbing different business locations around 9 states, he was effectively replicating the exact same crime each time. He targeted fast food restaurants as he knew there would far less security to navigate than, say, a bank. And leaving aside that one brave employee with the bucket, he knew that most weary fast food employees on minimum wage weren't going to do anything reckless in a bid to stop a robbery. The preparation and execution of each rooftop descent was immaculately orchestrated, but perhaps the most ingenious part of the whole master plan is how Ruthman had cleverly tapped into the cracks of corporate procedure. He was exploiting the almost immutable patterns of corporate routine. All these employees were following the same preset sequence and performing the same chores in the same areas of the building on the same day. They were almost mindlessly following an entirely predictable cycle of monotonous events, doomed to repeat the same actions over and over again, almost as if they were trapped in a time loop. And it was Ruthman's...
Ruthman.
Yeah, it's like life sometimes, isn't it? And it was Ruthman's job to study these patterns and exploit the weakest segments of the daily cycle. I don't think McDonald's is built on this. Is it a book? There's something inside. It was either a book or a documentary I saw about McDonald's systems and how they work and all of this stuff. And McDonald's has made so much money off this boring, exact repetition of everything and keeping everything as a perfect system that it's like, yeah, we get robbed occasionally. It's like, but it's made us billions of dollars. It's a good trade-off. Of course, I'm not having a go at McDonald's employees here. I'm sure that millions of us throughout history have experienced periods in our lives where it feels like we're powerless zombies on a conveyor belt to infinity. Oh, Danny, that is dark. Perhaps even Ruthman had become so caught up in his expert criminal manipulation of human uniformity that he himself had unwittingly found himself mindlessly following an entirely predictable cycle of monotonous events doomed to repeat the same actions over and over, almost as if he was trapped in a perpetual time loop. And I did have to consider there whether I'd accidentally read that paragraph twice, but no, it's a clever joke from old Danny there.
Genius billionaire playboy philanthropist.
Having said that, even genius criminal masterminds have their off days, and not every single operation was a slick success. Police occasionally found abandoned equipment and only half-completed holes on the roofs of fast food restaurants, suggesting that Roofman had been forced into making a hasty exit before he could finish the job. In that case, that's not an example of him failing, that's an example of him succeeding, because he knows when to give up. That's a good thing. Like, not being like, no, I'm not that committed to this. This one's too risky. Let's go to another McDonald's, because there's thousands of them. On another occasion, he drilled down into the roof of a McDonald's in Folsom in Sacramento County, only to find that the restaurant was closed for Thanksgiving Day. Oh, wait, you wouldn't check that on... it's back in the day. You wouldn't check that on the door? By and large, aside from forgetting to make a note of national holidays in his diary, yeah, but... Wait, is everything closed on Thanksgiving Day? Isn't this America?
No, when you completely leave society and you don't have friends or family or any connections anymore and you're just in it for yourself, holidays are goddamn meaningless. They're actually like these things that you realize that humanity used to kind of snare you up with, you know? It sucks, but I mean, that's how I've viewed it since I was like 20 or something like that. Past the point of like boyhood, around the age of 18, I was like, yeah, holidays suck and they take up way too much time, and all the women that I think pretty much planned their lives around them, which is sort of weird, and it's like, I don't know, I don't like, while those things are cool. Now, what was that sound? Oh, he broke his pickaxe. Okay, there we go. Yeah, now I gotta earn the gold. Now I gotta earn the gold to buy a horse and go out and train, or sorry, tame, what are they called? Razorbacks again.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
I'm up to 386. I'm making that money. Oh yeah. I wonder if I could. Can I sell things here? You won't let me sell this here, will you? 312. I want to ask, 25,000 for it. Yeah, but immediate sell for 312. Sell. Not immediate, but 3 months, right? Oh wow, I can. So my orders, right? Orders. Finance, market orders, Domovic, Singularity Storm. Oh, I'm selling skins. But oh yeah, I have these skins. Yeah, I forgot all about that stuff. For 25,000 ISK, right, per, yeah. Cancel order, yeah. Okay, well, I can just post a whole lot more. So, yeah, like, who cares? I can always take this down. How much will it cost me in taxes? 13 million to post it. I want to put it up for 30,000 out here and just see if people will buy 400 million of this. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know why they would, but you never know. You never know. Yep, for 30,000, it's 102 million. And to last a night for the same deal, 30K, but you can get it. You can get all this here if you want to. This will go up for 30k as well. Yep. And there we go. And if I ever want to sell some, I can just take it off the market. I love that I can sell things here. I think that's actually very interesting. I could sell exits here. I wonder what those would sell for. What's proximity go for out here? Or proximity, right? Yeah, proximity 5. In system, they go for 7 million apiece. And there's buy orders out here for those. 3 million apiece. But what's proximity on the market? Oh, gotta go to a different tree now. Dapple, Greywood. Proximity. I want to go to... Yeah, what are Master at Arms right now? 83, not bad. Buy orders. I bought them for 74, and they're up to 86 right now. That's awesome. I need to double check my yeah, my booster. I have 5 more days on my booster. That's good. Yeah, I have like quite a lot of stuff for sale here, actually. Well, do you even drone? That was the guy that was in a... What was it? It was like a rattlesnake or something. Yeah. I'm gonna go leave.
Warp drive active.
And I'll get a whole set and a horse together after I farm for a couple of hours, and I'll get a whole set and a horse together. I'll go all the way out to Razorbacks, where the road splits west towards Tendrum, and I'll train something. Oh no, you know what I'll do? I'll go get Brown Bear, because Brown Bear, I can probably train a bear. I can probably tame a bear now. And Brown Bear would be good. Brown Bear is really strong. I'll take a horse. Well, and I'll walk out to Brown Bear. Brown Bear is only, well, wow. Brown Bear is actually really far. Maybe I should take a new objective. 3,000 meters is like Tendrum. I'm not doing that. I didn't realize, but I took the wrong bear mission. Yeah, that Brown Bear mission is too far. Take a new hunting mission. Oh, my strength went to 108. That's good. We're like halfway to 115. And these things are capping out a little bit. Okay, these can lock. Oh, I got a clay gift, and I totally spaced it. I forgot about this. And I'm halfway through my level already. So +3 to strength or battle cry. By 20, monsters of fossil goods are more threatening during this effect. Okay, 20 bottom. Yep, and I do a lot of damage, so I can do a battle cry too. Yeah, let's do a battle cry too as well. All right, sold. So we're gonna move you down 1, down 1, down 1. I'm going to move battle cry to 4. And I am a warrior. Now, approach. Let's hear the rest of the,
Even the KFC. The KFC near my house is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And I'm very comforted by the fact that I can walk about 4 minutes and have a KFC at, 4:15 a.m. in the morning. I never
Really?
do, but it's very comforting to know that I can.
I know. I miss the city.
Ruthven was close to flawless
I miss the city very
executions,
badly.
increasingly prolific rooftop robberies, and it was perhaps this step up in the number of rooftop robberies that eventually led to his downfall. The police had already come astonishingly close to catching the roofman in the act.
Astonishingly close.
McDonald's in Placerville in El Dorado County. The police were alerted whilst he was still on the roof. After he made a desperate scramble down to the ground, it appeared that the police had the guy cornered in the parking lot. But with a single bound, the roofman was free. He made a pretty impressive leap over a massive chain-link fence, sprinted across 4 lanes of busy traffic on Interstate 80, and disappeared into the woods. Wow. In the movies, and on those shows, the ones where they have the cars and they're in the police chase, they always get caught. People can escape from the police. The Placerville police will always remember that as the day they almost caught the roofman. But the North Carolina police did eventually get to grips with Roofman on the 20th of May 2000. Roofman had already done the early morning shift at a branch of McDonald's in Gastonia, North Carolina.
It's when they get greedy like this and they try to do 2 in a day, that's when they get caught, because they're tired and they're stressed out. And they put their nerves under too much stress and in a single day, and they start making mistakes, or they make themselves predictable in some way. And when you make yourself predictable as a criminal, you'll get caught.
Fueled by greed or an admirable desire to increase productivity, he decided to tackle a closing shift on the very same day. Danny says not in the same branch, obviously, and I'm like, he robbed the same place? What, twice in one day? No, he travelled for a full 10 miles to another branch of McDonald's in Belmont, this time armed with a .22 caliber rifle. But on this occasion...
The guns are unnecessary for a man of intelligence like this. I frown on it. I think it's entirely unnecessary for somebody willing to live this kind of life with this kind of excitement. Like, I frown on their desire and ability to just aim a weapon at another human being. I don't think that's very normal. Oh, I have to stir my crock pot, guys. I'm terribly sorry. I forgot. I'll be right back. Ouch. Okay, the rest of it. Okay. Oh, here's a Garmer. I happened to catch him.
Warp drive active.
An ejector. I happened to catch him. It was nice. Bye. We will dock up and dump for a few minutes and just let it be hot. You know? It's Saturday night. The boomers are out killing people. Oh yeah, I'm a 46 out of 60. I wish you could buy while you're crafting. It's
Docking
so
permission
annoying.
requested. Docking request accepted.
See, prime time hit and a bunch of bad stuff happened. I lost those pigs. I knew better. I thought about it as I left. I was like, I think it's prime time and I'm gonna die, and I sure enough did. And I'm going to follow my instincts next time and just come chop wood during prime time, because it's like really the only safe thing that you can do. Then around 10 or 11, they all go to bed to their middle class lives on their long hard road to the middle. You know, and that's okay. It's just, you know, I'm not on that grind. I did that grind for 23 years. I'm not doing that anymore. And I did my time. I worked for 20 years, and I'm just not on that grind anymore. I'm retired, so and I'm a streamer, and I'm working towards trying to build a career and more like a history, really, a history. And it's not really conductive for me to get ganked, because I am not competing with these people. I really do not care. I'm not competing with them in any way or form. I didn't even get those guys a fight because it's a 2v1. I consider it dishonorable to even fight them, because they are so dishonorable. 2v1ing people like that, people who are trying to learn the game, that honestly fighting them is like acknowledging that they exist or that they should get a kill legitimately or anything like that. I wanted to kill his pet because I could, but the only thing I could have killed there in time would have been their pet. So that's one thing I did try to kill, and I know better. I just I use my actions and I dissuade them from doing this again, because I just wouldn't even give them the fight. I ended up in the fucking river. I learned the river. At least I learned something from it. They did me a service in the respect that I learned that you really can't cross the river. You can't cross that river unless you know exactly where. Oh, I need to buy her copper before she closes. I have burned through 100 grand. And while I know that I'm ahead, it doesn't feel like it because my liquid is gone. Feels like I crippled myself, but no, I have a lot of money on the alts. It's just I haven't sent it yet. I want to do silver now because it's starting to stack up. Oh, I'm low on fire now too. It's annoying. Copper, silver. There we go. If it was a 1v1, I would have fought, you know. But no, they got to make it dishonorable. They got to act like PvP is this farming thing where they run around and farm people. And I've always really disliked that attitude. I think that's disgusting.
was surprised again by the bravery of
Like farming people.
the McDonald's employee who was
It's cool to run into them naturally, but like to farm people like that, they saw me and they just knew it was a 2v1. They took it. I was like, yeah, okay, I get it, but it sucks. I lost to the river, not you.
wasn't going to give up
It's dishonorable for you to 2v1 people. I don't care what you say.
the profits to his corporate employer without a fight. It's like,
Yeah, don't fight. Don't fight the robbers ever. Don't fight robbers if you're... I've been robbed. Well, I've never been robbed at gunpoint, but I've been in a robbery and like, I have been robbed at gunpoint actually, but I didn't give him anything. I told him I don't have anything. I was like, I don't have anything. He's like, motherfucker, you fired in the air. He's like, yes, you do. And I was like, no, I don't. I've got a pack of cigarettes and I'm going to need it after you. That's what I said too. I was like, I'm going to need it after you. I'm not giving him up. I told him, you're going to shoot me over a pack of cigarettes? And no, I told him, no, you aren't. And so I was like, I'm going to back away now. Just going to walk away. I'm going to let you get out of this, and we're never going to speak or see each other again. And then I ran. I just walked away to the point where I realized he wasn't going to shoot me or take me hostage or something. And I just ran. As soon as he let me, I just ran.
Yeah, dude. Don't fight.
No, you're not going to shoot me over a pack of cigarettes, and I'm not giving you the pack of cigarettes either. I'll die first. Give somebody something, it never ends. It never ends.
Much more concerned about the lawsuit.
They saw that they weren't even going to get a single pack of cigarettes out of me, so they never came back. You know. But the minute that you do give somebody something, they'll keep coming back over and over and over and over again until you're dead. That's how thievery and extortion works. That's how humanity actually is. And so you don't ever compromise. You don't ever deal with people like that. You don't ever. Yeah, you just don't give them a reason.
The bravery didn't extend to lobbing a bucket at Roofman's head. Instead, the employee just managed to discreetly hit a silent alarm button while Roofman's attention was probably focused on
Roofman
wrapping up nice and warm for another stint in the freezer. Isn't that silent alarm going to be like a constant concern? How do you know people aren't pressing?
This is my problem with being a criminal. I stopped doing it and I stopped thinking it was cool. Like back in, I don't know, like 7 years ago or something like that. It was 5 years ago now, I think. I realized that you're so paranoid over things that might not even be real, you know, all the time. That the paranoia isn't worth the money that crime leads to, you know. The paranoia isn't worth it. You're always like, oh, some punk I fucking fucked with way back. Or, you know, or some fucking, like, some person hurts somebody that I love to hurt me or something. I mean, I just don't see it ever worth it. And I never did it in a organized way until way till the end when I hit rock bottom. I was never like this organized criminal with this desire to do anything like that. When I did crazy things like in-store break-ins and stuff, I didn't plan first. I just came. I knew I was gonna do what I was gonna do. Show up with a crowbar, smash the window, in and out in 45 seconds, dropping the clothes and the evidence all out the fucking window and shit in the neighborhood nearby, on different streets as you drive 100 miles an hour out of there. And I did fine. I got away scot clean. Almost every single time too. It's when other humans get involved that's when you start to lose.
Well, there was the silent alarm in the shop where I worked.
Something really bad happened one time because they just happened to come home and like what they just happened to come home. It was insane. You know, it was just crazy. It was like what the chances of it were like 0, but it happened.
Was it a silent? I think it was just a loud alarm. No, it must have been a silent alarm. Otherwise, you're just asking for trouble.
I was somewhere looking for some information that I wanted, and this person just came home. You know,
these two things are.
I was trespassing.
It's underneath the till at once, like 2 buttons at once.
And the person came home, performed a citizen's arrest, and I let them. I was like, yep, I think the right thing here would be to just, face the music here because what I've done is horrible, and I would tell them why I did it. Nobody judged me or anything, not even the owner. The owner was disgusted and hated me, but they understood the story.
And they were like, don't press them.
And they saw why I was there.
You're getting robbed.
And the place that I hit was some place that I had lived already. It was a place I used to live. It was kind of crazy.
If you're...
But, no felony. And not because of some crazy, mistrial or something like that either. I just never actually committed a crime that they thought would ever be worthy of a felony because not beyond possession. I've definitely been guilty of a felony possession, but they always drop it. They either drop it or they drop it down, one or the other. They don't want a felony on my record, and I don't either. I've not done anything as bad as felonies in terms of... I've done a couple of things that are as bad as felony level jail, but nothing that I should have been even caught for, really. The information I was after, to me, was sacred. Trying to figure out where my cat was. That's all.
a robber.
And that information was sacred to me, and so I felt like I was, on the right path when I did what I did.
Aren't you always worried that someone's just quietly done that, and then you wouldn't know?
Like, not the right path, but the one that served me, that was harmless, that was only about information, that was it. I would have kidnapped the cat back, because I raised the cat for 7 years, I had that cat for 7 years before I had to trade it for rent. I would have kidnapped the cat back. I traded my cat for rent when I hit the streets in 2015, and I went back for him 8 years later, and it cost me terribly. But they didn't stick me with a felony on that. They listened to my story, and they understood why I was there. I wasn't there to harm anybody. I wasn't there to steal anything. Wasn't there to... Well, I might have been there to harm somebody in terms of stealing my cat back. But I mean, the person who kind of hoodwinked me into trading that cat, like, I liked them, they're a friend, but it was dirty. It was kind of dirty. I gave away the thing I cared about the most almost in my life for a couple of months of rent. Well, that's how cold and dark it was that winter. The unemployment ended in December, and I couldn't pay rent in January. And so to get through January and February in the Colorado Rocky Mountains with no help, no support, nothing at all, I just traded, my cat. And I was like, if you let me stay here for 2 more months, I will sign a contract saying that I will leave and I will trade you my cat, because I know that, where I go, I can't take him with me. It was stupid to let the cat go. I should have fought for him. And subsequently later, I got caught up in a really bad trespassing problem, because I was like, where's the cat? I want the cat back. My life is over. The woman that I love has been terrified and scared away, and these people tried to kill me, and this dude tried to kill me, and these 2 dudes broke into my house, and there was all this stuff, and it was just, it was terrible, and I was a drug dealer and ex-heroin and methamphetamine addict, and all of those things were my fault. All of it was my fault, but letting the cat go was stupid, and the obsession that I had with it for like 5 years, all I could think about was how I let that cat go. He was like my spiritual support animal for getting through the hardest things in this world, and I traded him so that both he and I would not freeze to death in the winter. I was going to freeze to death in the winter. I was living in my car. I had to gamble. I had to trade him away so that the party could continue on. And I considered it like a Dungeons and Dragons party where that cat had been with me for 7 years. 7 years. That's half his life. He gave me, in human years, that's 43 years or something like that. And so, yeah, and he gave me 7 years of his 18-year life. And the only reason I lost him was I needed some place to be in the winter, and it was a way to be in his life for 2 months longer and all this, but then I never saw him again. And I still feel so bitter about that. That was when really I feel like my covenant with the human race was kind of broken. When they kind of took from me that which I cared for the most, that I had painstakingly raised like a child for 7 years, have fed and loved and taken care of, and and all this stuff, and really doted over, and he was my best friend, and I had to trade him away so I wouldn't fucking freeze in the winter. It sucked. There was nowhere to go. I couldn't come out here. It just wasn't an option yet. They were not developed out here yet like that. And I couldn't, I on the West Coast, and I couldn't, my family was not developed out here, and it was not an option for me to go anywhere. And my friends, were fed up with me because I was an ex-addict or current addict, really. And just, and I was living in the flop house with my methamphetamine friends, and it was just terrible. And I eventually I was like, I want my cat back. It's been 5 years, so I went looking for him, and it was the worst mistake in my goddamn life. I'll tell you right now, I went looking for him forcibly. I just went back to where I'd lived for 5 years, and I just went in the back door. I knew how to get in the back door. I had lived there for 5 years, and I just went in the back door, and he came home within 90 seconds of when I went in that back door, and I was like, "Hi, I'm not here to harm you or steal from you. I would like to just leave, and I'm going to walk." And he was like, "I'm not going to let you leave. I'm going to perform a citizen's arrest." And I was like, "Okay, I understand that, but please do not hurt me, and I'm going to submit, but I would really like to leave. I didn't come here to harm you. I don't know you, sir. You have nothing to do with this. I am just here to look for my cat. That's all." And he's like, "Nope, you have felony broken the law." And I did, but they dropped it down, because they all knew. I wasn't there to harm anybody. I wasn't there to steal or do anything bad except take my cat back. But I mean, he kind of like the way he it was his idea, my old roommate's idea. It was his idea. He was like, "I'll trade you rent for that cat." And I was like, "Really?" And it sucked. It was kind of like Satan coming up to be like, "Yeah, if you don't want to freeze to death in the winter, you could trade away your best friend right here." And sure enough, I did. I traded away my best friend, because if I didn't, my best friend would have had to come with me into the winter and froze, you know? And I did. I made it through that year. That was when finally I just came out here. And I took a job, I have been driving delivery for Grubhub for 7 years. And then I took a job in 2015 as a taxi driver, and I stayed a taxi driver until 2022. And all in all, I drove, and then before that I drove more delivery, and then I was a cashier before that. It's just weird. And I think about all the stuff with this guy, because I kind of had like a weird like bandit life too, and it's weird, and like I wanted that cat back, and it was the worst mistake I ever fucking made. I talk about it sometimes, because I still need to come to grips with how stupid it was. But when I tell people, they don't get scared of me. They hear nasty words like break-in or like trespassing and shit like that. They think burglary, but it wasn't, and I have to tell them to their face. I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't steal anything, though. I didn't steal a single fucking thing. That's God's honest truth. I did not steal anything. You know, I didn't steal the cat. I came there looking for information. I came away with nothing but a close to felony charge. That was it. That's all I got for that whole fucking ordeal." And as it was, it took me 5 years to screw up the goddamn courage to do that. And when my life fell apart, and I lost the love of my life for no good goddamn reason, and a man had tried to kill me, and I was an ex-heroin addict and a current methamphetamine addict, and I was like living in the flop house, and the man had tried to kill me, and now I was living like as a squatter, solo, all out for my own entirely, like no one else left in my life at all, except for my mother in a different state. And like a different state in the union. And I just I was like, well, the cat I looked out for him for 7 years, and he was supposed to help me get through this. I needed him, and so I'm going to go back and I'm going to remedy that situation, because the owner currently took good care of the fucking cat, but he never should have traded me for the cat in the first fucking place. It was kind of like asking for my soul. I did. I traded my soul so I wouldn't fucking freeze to death in the winter of Colorado Rocky Mountains. I don't know if you've ever done it before, the winter in Colorado Rockies, but it's between 0 and often 37 degrees almost all winter from, I would say November until March, or no, even later, May, like April 26th, somewhere around there, for like 5 months. It's just frozen ass, like 0 to like 37 degree weather. I don't know if you've ever been a homeless person in a freezing situation, but it requires an entirely different set of grit and a different set of like views and how to look at things. And yeah, I traded my cat, and while I have no regrets about that, I have regret that I didn't have him anymore. I needed him. He was my emotional support animal. I raised him to be so. We were like psychically connected and all this. It was crippling. The day I drove away, I cried and cried and cried and cried for goddamn 5 years or something like that. The day I drove away, that was 26. No, yeah, I believe it was 2016 in March, and I drove away in March, and I cried. I had a broken heart. It was fucked up. It wasn't just that, and that was before I even knew my next two girlfriends. That was crazy. That was like totally single and just younger. I was like 33, something like that, and it was just too much to take. It was too much for one human, and I started to boil in this like self-recriminating thing, like, you left your best friend back in the dark dungeon where you almost froze to death. That's like literally what I used to tell myself when I was high. I was like, remember, you have to go back for your best friend at some point. It was like that for me. I told that to my mother when she asked me why I did it. I was like, well, it was like going back for my best friend. It was like I left him in the fucking jungles of Vietnam or something like that. The person I left him with, I trusted him, and I knew him to be a good man, and he would take care of the cat. I really had no doubts about that, and I still don't. But I wanted the cat, and I would do anything to get him, and I still would. Except he's too old now. He's probably passed. He's probably passed now. It's crazy. Yeah, I got him when I was, I got him in 2008, I believe. So yeah, he would be about reaching the end of his life right now. And I think about him all the time. You ever lost like I've lost a lot of best friends in my life. I'm gonna cry right now thinking about it. I mean, maybe I'm getting stronger. Maybe I won't cry. I don't know. But it sucked. And so yeah, at that time there was a song on the fucking radio by Five Finger Death Punch, and every single night I would drink like 5 fucking shots of liquor just to get to bed. I would pour like 5 shots of liquor out in a chaser, and I would drink it in like, I don't know, 4 minutes or something like that. I would just like pound a big old King's mug worth of fucking like Five Finger Death Punch is what I used to call it. And Five Finger Death Punch at that time had a song called "No One Gets Left Behind." And this is like a war. It's like basically like a war commercial, but for army recruitment. But I felt that way about that cat. I felt that I left him behind there with an owner that he had not grown up with. And while I had done so in an agreement, a gentleman's agreement, I still felt that I had fucking abandoned him there. And I still feel that way. That was just another heartbreaking thing that really got to me at the end there. When I hit rock bottom, I was like, God damn it. The woman that I loved was terrified away by a fucking killer type dude who scared the living shit out of both of us. And then that dude tried to kill me with a circular saw. And that made no sense, any of that. None of it made sense. It didn't make sense that after I was painstakingly raised a Scottish fold for 7 years to be my emotional support animal, because I have Asperger's and I'm sensitive about my shit, And then I just left him behind like he was some kind of bargaining tool for my future. And I couldn't stomach it. After 5 years, I couldn't stomach it anymore. I was like, I will kidnap the cat. And if anybody ever asks, I will tell them what I did. And if they ask me why, I will tell them it was like leaving my best friend behind. I've still been able to tell anybody who asks, like the judge, the DAs, anybody involved in the case, that the owner of the house, who, by the way, I'd never met before. It was not the old owner that has my cat. He had sold that house to someone new. And while that guy, he was a nice guy, he broke my ribs. He sat on my ribs till they broke while he waited for the cops to come. It was insane. I let him do so because I was not there to harm him. I didn't know him. I did not do anything to him. I'm a pussy for submitting, but the problem is I don't want to be known for running after doing something like that. I faced the music. I didn't want to be known for that. I took it sitting down. I just sat down. I took it sitting down. He sat on my ribs after I sat down. And I was like, I'd really like to leave right now. I told him, I was like, but I'm not going to. I will submit. And I told him, I was like, I'd really like to leave right now because all I did was, come here looking for information. I had no intent to harm you. I told him, I was panting because he was sitting on my ribs, but I was like, there was no intent to harm or steal from you here, sir. By all rights, you should technically let me go. I made an argument like that. I was like, I was only here for information. I'm looking for my cat. That was it, sir. And he was like, nope, you felony fucking trespass. You're going to jail. And I was like, all right, I understand. I would do the same thing if you had shown up in my house. And he was like, yes, you would. And I was like, yeah. And so I took that one. That was hard, and it wrecked me for another 5 years or something like that. It was probation forever and all this other stuff. And like, that's a fun little story about how I left my best friend behind in the darkest dungeon of the coldest winter I've ever experienced in my life. you know, and that's a lesson for the chaotic neutral, right? Is to understand you don't ever want to be in a party with a chaotic neutral, because not only did I trade away the cat to not starve, to start, well, not starve, but not to freeze to death in the winter. I had no options. I really did not. I had to beg and cajole and figure out some other option, like for 2 months to even have that. And I had to trade the cat to get the 2 months. It was up. The goddamn government didn't warn me they were going to cut off the federal unemployment extension. And then in January they kicked 7 million Americans out in the fucking street on December 20 fucking I think it was December 23rd. They kicked like 7 million Americans. 2.5 million of them were kids. I watched C-SPAN for 3 solid weeks because there was nothing else to do. I couldn't get a goddamn job because of my fucking record, and I had work. But I mean, like, it was, you know, it was still delivery work. It was still $10 an hour, and rent was goddamn $1,000. It was insane. Rent got so crazy. I was not making $1,000 a month. I was making like $640. And I don't know how I got the 1,000 for as long as I did. I still don't know. I was in that house for 5 years or something like that, and it was 1,000 when I went in. You know, it was 1,000 for the bedroom when I went in, and I've never made 1,000 a month. I've still not ever made 1,000 a month. I don't think, not really. I mean, I guess as a taxi driver, I definitely did. But I'm talking about back then when I was working like $10 an hour jobs in delivery. I was not a taxi driver. I was a delivery driver. Delivery drivers make like, 10, 12, $15 an hour or something like that. That is not $1,000 for month. It's $1,000 rent money. That is not. I was constantly sinking. I was on unemployment for some of it, like for a year, because that did pay the bills, that did pay the rent. It was like safer than working. It was safer to be on unemployment. That definitely paid the bills, so I could have a place to live like that in that house. And the 5th year that I was there, I was on unemployment for a solid year, and then they didn't do the federal extension like they should have, and they kicked a bunch of kids and people and parents out, and people like me out in the fucking street. People with disabilities and stuff like that. It was fucked up, and I hated my government after that. I hated John Boner, the fucking idiot Republican who led all that whole push to push us all out on the fucking streets, and all that. They still have not re-earned my love, though they are slowly by default doing so, because they are helping me. They are paying me for disability, and that is. That's probably the least they could do after the many times that they did stuff like throw me in a paddy wagon with broken ribs that day, and toss me around in a fucking paddy wagon like I was a fucking soccer ball on a fucking soccer field. It was the worst pain and torture I've ever experienced, being thrown and bounced around a goddamn paddy wagon while they drove fast on purpose to fucking torture me in the back of a paddy wagon with broken ribs that they weren't fucking treating. They weren't helping me get taken care of. And I was being bounced around like a soccer ball on a fucking soccer field. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs at them about how I had broken something, and they were like jostling me around, and they were like, "You have to go to jail first. We'll take care of you, but you have to go to jail first." And I was like, "Okay." And they did. They took me to city jail, and they booked me, and then they let me call for an ambulance, right? And then when I got there at the hospital, the goddamn Denver General didn't detect the broken ribs, and I was like, I am in the worst pain of my life, and they thought I was just like trying to get out of the police charge, because I was cuffed to the bed. And I was like, no, I have done something to myself internally, and they're like, we can't find anything at all. You have no bleeding, nothing at all. They couldn't detect broken ribs. They're fucking stupid. It was cracked ribs, but they were not broken, but they were cracked. I had terribly cracked ribs, and so then like 3 months later, I lived with that pain for 12 weeks. It was the worst period of my goddamn life. I lied in bed for 12 weeks until I got a deep vein thrombosis in my left leg, because they had broken my fucking ribs, and it took 12 weeks to fucking heal. And then finally later, I go to Kaiser Permanente because they switched my insurance or something like that, and they're like, like, oh my God, you have terribly cracked ribs. And I was like, what? And they're like, we're administering ketamine right now directly into your ribs. You should be in this massive pain that would kill a human being, that would kill any other man. And that's literally verbatim what they said. They were like, you are in massive pain because you have cracked ribs and it has not been addressed. We are going to shoot ketamine directly into your ribs right now and give you surcease from the pain. That's literally what he said to me. And I was like, okay. I went to Denver General. They said I didn't have shit. And they were like, well, you may have a malpractice suit here because they couldn't have missed this. You have terribly cracked ribs. And I was like, oh my fucking God. And because Denver General was just trying to help me, I did not sue them. But they needed to detect the goddamn cracked ribs. They ran the fucking x-rays. I saw the x-rays from the Kaiser Permanente 3 weeks later. It was 3 weeks later. It wasn't 12 weeks. It was 12 weeks of healing. But I went to the Kaiser 3 weeks later. 3 weeks of lying in bed crying from the fucking pain. It was the worst torture I'd ever fucking been in because the dude had to sit on my ribs to prove some point about I'd done something wrong and I needed to remember it. And so yeah, and also probably what cracked the ribs worse was being tossed around in the back of the goddamn paddy wagon like a fucking soccer ball. It was disgusting. It was like war crime level of disgusting. It was torture. I feel it is torture. I hate my government and I hate the system. I feel that I could sue them for loss and pain and suffering and stuff. Like it was like pain and suffering. And I lied in bed and finally I just went to the hospital and I was like, I don't know what's wrong. I believe I'm going to die. And they're like, well, you have terribly cracked ribs. We took an x-ray like you told us to. And yeah, you have terribly cracked ribs and we're going to give you a ketamine shot right now because you're probably in the worst pain that we've seen in a long time. And then they're like, we're going to put you on strong dope up pills for the next like 6 weeks, which is what they did. And they're like, we are so sorry that Denver General did not catch this. And I was like, I'm sorry too. If they hadn't been trying to help me for free, and I told that doctor too, I was like, he was like, you might have a malpractice suit against them. When the doctor's telling you that, it's like, he means it. He's like, this was clear negligence. They should have caught the ribs. You told them it was your rib area that hurt, right? And they took an X-ray, right? And I was like, yeah, it's in my file. And we pulled the X-ray, and sure enough, there was the cracked ribs that Denver General fucking completely fucking missed. They took a picture of it and completely fucking missed it. I don't know what was up their ass that day, and because I was like a jail patient, because I was a criminal patient that day, because I was cuffed to the bed, they ignored the ribs. They either ignored it or they missed it, and it was terrible. It was like 3 weeks of literal goddamn torture. I would take solitary in prison over what they did to me with the paddy wagon, into the 3 weeks of lying in bed till I had a deep vein thrombosis because of my cracked, fucked up ribs. And like with no treatment, they can't do anything for that either, but they can at least tell you what it is. It puts you on dope to deal with the pain, right? Instead, I continued to try to work. Fucking Denver General told me, you're fine. And so I continued, when I got out of jail, I continued to try to work. I continued to try to better my life. I continued to try to take care of myself. And it was just insane. It was just insane. It was, it was like one of the nastiest things that humanity's ever done to me. Was two of the nastiest things that humanity has ever done to me was also on the same day. They were both war crime levels of fucking disgusting behavior to me. The first one was the pigs tossing me around in the back of the paddy wagon with broken, cracked ribs. I mean, not broken, but cracked ribs. And cracked is just as bad. It's just as bad. You need to be not moving. It's just as bad. It's just as bad pain. You can go Google. It's the same thing essentially as broken ribs. It hurts just as bad. You have broken your ribs essentially. Thank God you didn't snap one off and it's inside your body somewhere. But you have cracked your ribs. It's essentially a break of the rib. It's like a crack. Like think of it like, I hate talking about it this way, but it is true. It's like when ice melts and cracks in half. When you bite an ice cube in half, that's that's literally what happened to my fucking ribs. It cracked. I was fucking furious when I found out, and so the pigs tossed me around like a soccer on a soccer field in the back of the fucking paddy wagon. I still want to hurt them for that. I want to hurt those pigs that did that to me. I want to hurt them really bad. I wouldn't care to blow up the Lindsay Flanagan building or it's just something, make it a fucking example. I hate them for that. I really hate them for that. I hate them for doing that to me. And it's not the first time they've ever done it to me either. They've tossed me in a paddy wagon twice with broken limbs, and in the first time was a shoulder, the second time was ribs, and then god damn it, that paddy wagon torture they do should be considered war crime level of like, I'm serious, like Geneva Convention stuff. You should not be able to throw a fucking victim of broken ribs or broken anything, broken shoulder. One time it was a broken shoulder they threw me in the paddy wagon. That was so fucked up. And also I cracked my elbow and multiple fractured it when I was 15, and I cannot put my hands behind my back totally, but like I can stretch my right arm completely out flat, but my left elbow will not. It will only go at like a 45-degree angle or something like that. It will not go flat straight like my right arm. It has to bend. My left arm can only bend like in this. This is the farthest I can stretch my arm out straight, because I have a terrible multiple fracture and scar tissue on my left elbow and all this from falling off a 19-foot fence when I was 16. And what was I gonna say? Now what is that sound? It's like kind of annoying. Somebody slowly buying into something that I'm looking at here. Yeah. And so. Yeah, and so that same day, they did 2 terrible war crime levels of fucking things to me. They threw me around in that paddy wagon with broken ribs, and then the fucking doctors missed the broken ribs, which is easy to do, I admit, which is why I did not sue them. It's easy to do. If you don't know what to look for, I imagine it's probably actually fairly easy to miss the broken ribs. So I did not litigiously like slap like Denver General like I could have. But I mean, they pretty much like they kind of tortured me. Not only did the jail cops torture me, the paddy wagon cops, the fucking hospital tortured me by misdiagnosing broken ribs. They told me I was fine, I could go about my business, and that the pain was probably just because some dude sat on me, you know. And I was saying that I was experiencing like muscle fatigue and bone fatigue, and they probably like, you know, like bruised me very, very, very badly, which they did. He like bruised my ribs he cracked my ribs. He cracked my fucking ribs. He sat on my rib cage. Fucking basically broke my ribs. He weighed more than I did. And, you know, and after those 2 things that day, after all the other things, you know, you know, it was just too much. It was just too much. And on top of it, I had to go tell people, well, I might be going to jail soon because I caught this fucking terrible trespassing charge, and for a long time we thought I was going to go to jail for 10 years for probation violation, all this other stuff. That was the first bad thing to happen, and then later on I had a moped accident. I woke up in jail after being in a coma for 5 days. That was the third terrible thing. Trouble travels in threes, right? That was the third terrible thing that happened. I feel like I've dodged 3 bullets, and you know, Skycat has 9 lives because 8 of them are gone. I've used up 8 of my lives. Like, god damn it, they've tried to kill me so many fucking times. Throw me in a paddy wagon with a broken shoulder, broken ribs, toss me around, fucking throw me in jail for no good goddamn reason, scare the love of my life away, try to kill me with a circular saw for no good goddamn reason, no reason.
I'd always just assume if I was robbing that button,
you know, yeah. And so like, I don't know, like I think about this all the time. I'm like, god damn it, like it did not need to be that cold and that bad. I have my reasons for disliking humanity. They're very strong ones, you know. Like, I was not treated well, and that's okay, but I deserve what I got, but I just, you know, but I didn't treat anybody else like that, though. You can say it was really bad that I was there trespassing. It was, and I deserve it, and I'm lucky that I didn't, very, very lucky that I didn't catch a felony, and they understood my story. They understood that I have Asperger's and that I'm crazy. But like and I have opposition authority, and I just didn't believe in the authority of that dude taking my cat, trading me my future for my cat. You know, I just didn't really believe in the authority of him being able to do so. Just because our country is like, you know, running like price fixing wars on rent and stuff like that, and trying to make it very difficult to be able to afford to live, I have to lose my cat, my best friend, or the woman that I love, or anything like that. It makes no sense. It's like the dark times when they came. It's not good. It was Great Depression, you know. It's not just good depression. It was Great Depression. It was Great Depression for me. COVID was the Great Depression for me. I want to write a book called Love in the Time of COVID, where I talk about all this crap, because it was like that. It was like the Great Depression for me. It was door to door. I was literally door to door. Sometimes I would knock on the neighbors' doors and be like, "Yo, do you need anything shoveled or trash taken out or anything at all? I need $1." You know, it was shitty like that. You know, it sucks when you're going to door, when you're eating out of the donut store trash can, the donut store dumpster. You're eating donuts that they leave at the top of the dumpster for the bums to eat. You're like living off the donuts, and you have a literal gluten allergy, but you're living off of donuts, you know? And so you're sick. You're fat. You're sick. You're unhealthy. You have unhealthy thoughts. You're addicted to porn. You're addicted to drugs. You're addicted to all kinds of crazy shit. And I just, you know, and loose women and all these problems. You're addicted to the problems most of all. And I had to draw the line. I was like, there was no reason why he needed to break my ribs. There was no reason why they needed to throw me in the paddy wagon with the broken ribs. There was no reason why they had to do that to me 15 years before when I had a broken shoulder from shoplifting. Because I was shoplifting $23 worth of shit from Safeway at Downing and Evans. They fucking broke my they tackled me and landed on my left shoulder and broke it entirely. And then they threw me in a paddy wagon and bounced me around. They wouldn't let me call for an ambulance. I'm sorry, they made me call for an ambulance, but like, you know, but it sucked. It sucked. It sucked. It was so painful. I had a broken fucking shoulder and I couldn't get a proper ambulance. It was so stupid. And like, you know, and there was no reason why they needed to torture me that bad. It's so long that, you know, so long ago now, but there was no reason why they needed to do that. They didn't need to file. Safeway filed an assault charge on me when I was shoplifting because when the guy tackled me and broke my shoulder, he scraped his nose on the concrete. When he slid up and over my head, he tackled me from behind with no warning, which broke my shoulder. Had he warned me, I would have been fine. But because he didn't warn me, he was playing fucking Samurai Jack or whatever in his job. He fucking tackled me, no warning, and he broke my shoulder for no fucking reason at all. It felt punitive and stupid. And to protect themselves from a lawsuit because I was shoplifting, they filed an assault charge on me for no reason. I dodged that charge for 6.5 years, which means that I was essentially living underground for 6.5 years over that, just because I was so hungry and living on the streets and homeless, that because I stealed a little handcart worth of food from Safeway. They broke my $23 worth of shoplifting. They broke my fucking shoulder and threw me in the paddy wagon afterwards. It wouldn't give me an ambulance. And then they made me take an ambulance after that. It was insane. They made me take an ambulance home, which was $3,000 that I had to pay out of pocket. I'm shoplifting from fucking Safeway. $23 so that I don't starve to death, right? Where the fuck am I going to get $3,000 for an ambulance ride that I didn't even want to take? I don't know, but I had to, and they still, you know, they still are ruining my credit over that. There was all these stupid things that happened that are, you know, really unnecessary, that just didn't need to happen to me. It felt like torture just for being here, just because I'm a human, I'm a member of the human race. I had to go through a lot more bullshit things than most people. I don't really understand it. I am not special. I am not unique. I'm not some unique special snowflake. There was no reason why I should have received any different treatment than any other American facing those same charges. Millions of charges like this go out every day in every precinct in every fucking state in this union. But you had to throw me in the paddy wagon with the broken ribs? Do you throw all them in the paddy wagon with the broken ribs? I bet you do. I bet you do. I bet you throw everybody else in there with broken ribs too. I bet you do. I bet that's really common. And I don't know why that's necessary. Do you understand how really psychologically torturing that can be? It's like you're a fucking tennis ball in a fucking washing machine, except you have broken fucking limbs. The walls of the washing machine are literally banging on your broken ribs, and you're screaming at the top of your lungs like Wolverine just stabbed you, you know? Like with his schnickety claws, you're screaming bloody murder for 45 fucking minutes because you have broken ribs and they're bouncing you around back there, like, and they think it's funny. You know, I swear to God, they thought it was funny. They're used to it. They're inhuman. They're pieces of shit. You know, fucking pigs, in the true sense of the word. You know, like. Police that you know, they're like, they're not horses because they talk straight. They're pigs, you know, they talk straight, but they don't act straight. And like getting all of that on the same day, the broken rib paddy wagon, and into the misdiagnosis of the broken ribs, and the 3 weeks of torture and the deep vein thrombosis afterwards, because I was just lying there in a fetal ball for 3 solid weeks while I waited for my ribs to heal. And I was like, well, the doctor said it was nothing. The doctor said it was nothing. Finally, I got so paranoid, I called my mother, you know, and I was like, I believe something is broken internally, and I have to go back to the doctor, and I'm doing so now. I need to figure out what's wrong with me. And sure enough, yeah, I had cracked my ribs. And the worst part is after all of that, the only surcease that I got was for the 45 minutes in the ER after they had informed me that after they had, you know, broken my ribs, they had also misdiagnosed it. And that, you know, and it had missed it. And that ketamine that they shot into my ribs was one of the best feelings I've ever had in my whole fucking life. Thank God that somebody in the fucking human race at least had the pity to listen to me and take a look, you know? It's not like I went to doctors often. I don't like going to the doctors. You know me. I bitch about it on stream all the time. I hate going to doctors. It feels like you're sick, you know? I don't like feeling sick. That means like I'm somehow like, you know, somehow susceptible to like loss, and I don't believe myself susceptible to any loss. I've never really taken a loss. I've only ever been fucked over by other people. In terms of losing anything, yeah, I guess I've lost a relationship that I really cared about, but that was not up to me. I put her in a situation that was not acceptable, and that was not up to me. I fucked up, and I admit it. You know? And not because of me, but because of other people. Not me, but because of other people. And that sucks. It sucks when you're like, oh, I have to reckon out why they dealt me so dirty, and like forgive them and forgive them. I forgave the pigs for doing this. I forgave the doctors for doing it. They're just trying to help me. The pigs are just trying to fucking help us. They're just trying to keep this society from falling apart at the seams. They're people who are trying to help us, and so I did not sue anybody. I hate them, but I don't cuss at them. I don't disrespect them when they're in the same room as me. I like that they tried to help me, and I don't shame them for doing so, and I'm sorry that I hate them. They did torture me, you know? They did torture me. It was a hard one. It was a hard one for a little while. It was, you know, they did torture me for a little bit there. It was not too fun. It was... you know, and it wasn't the first time either, with the same exact bullshit, second time again. Anytime that I'm broken and on the streets and experiencing the worst pain and suffering and torture I've ever experienced before, the cops show up and break a limb and then throw me in the paddy wagon and toss me around like a soccer ball in a soccer field. I don't know why. Third time's the charm, you know? I don't know why. And no sympathy for criminals, I guess. But I mean, like, you know, I don't know. My crimes were crimes of passion. They weren't really the ones that you would normally hate a criminal for. I was there for information, trying to save my best friend. I was not trying to harm anybody. But they don't see it that way. They just know that you broke the law, and I'm okay with that. It's their judgment call to make. I don't think the guy hates me. I can tell you that. I think he hates me that I did that, but I don't think he hates me. I explained to him why I was there very clearly. I told him that I didn't know him, and that I would never see him again, and that I was not a threat to him, and that I really am so sorry. I told him, I am so sorry that we had to go through this even. And I was like, I will feel deep regret for this for the rest of my life, and I'm sorry that I put you at jeopardy, and you will never see me again. I am not a threat to you. I will not harbor anything against you, no matter what I get. And I told him, I was like, I am very, 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 very sorry. He was sitting on my ribs, and it was hard to get it out, but I did say these things. You know, I was screaming and crying, but I wasn't screaming, but I was like, you know, crying. He was sitting on my broken ribs. I was like out, you know. I was in so much pain. It hurt so bad when it happened. I knew when it happened too. I knew I heard my ribs crack. I was like, I believe I have broken ribs now. I've never had this before, you know? It fucked up. It was fucked up. Pain is so goddamn unbearable. You can't do anything about it. It's like somebody like fired a baseball at your stomach, at 2,000 miles an hour, and it just breaks a bunch of stuff in there, and it feels like this pit of damage, you know, because that's what it is. It's, you know, it feels like a pit of damage. It feels like you were hit by a softball that was going 2,000 miles an hour, because it is sort of like that. It was that amount of pressure to break the ribs. It's insane, and it was the worst pain I'd ever experienced. Almost, I've had a lot of bad pain before, but not like that. That was another level. Being tossed around in that paddy wagon. That was like the day that I knew I was done. I was just done. I never did break the law ever again. Or that's not true. I think I kind of violated probation by drinking in the madhouse, because I was not under house arrest. I could leave and go work, but I was on disability, so I didn't. Well, I was on a disability appeal. Excuse me. That finally came through about 4 months after I got out. And I chose to not put myself at risk, because there was a man driving up and down the road who had tried to kill me. You know, he was driving up down the road right where I lived every single day. I could see the truck. I saw him multiple times in that neighborhood. He came through that road all the time. It sucked, and I knew that truck. You know, and yep, psycho tried to kill me, and that was just. You know, it was on another level of just, I was not ready for it. My drug business had just unraveled. I lost the love of my life because of him. You know, for no reason. It just came out in left field for no reason at all. I had done nothing but help him and do favors for him, and it was just stupid. I ran afoul of a complete idiot who just has broken code where his brain used to be, because he's shot cocaine for 25 years. Don't ever trust anybody who shoots cocaine. Disgusting habit. It'll destroy their brain cells and turn them into an entirely different person. He wasn't doing that when I was around him, but he was most of his life. He told me one time, he was like, yeah, I straight shot cocaine into my fucking veins like 20 years of my life. And I was like, oh, so that's why you're so crazy. I didn't say it, but I was like, okay, well, yeah, if you shot cocaine for 20 years in the 70s and 80s, I imagine you are fucking crazy. He was crazy. He was a hunchback. He was crazy. He was the scariest man I've ever met, hands down, no problem.
Hit as soon as someone like
fucking crazy ass hunchback. In the minute that he talks, you can immediately read that his sanity is just not there. It's not there.
His eyes on me, and I have whatever the police response time to that area is, which I would know.
And then that day, when that dude sat on my ribs, I was like, I'm never breaking the law again. And it's not because I'm not a good criminal. I am. I didn't get caught for drug dealing, you know. I got caught for possession, but I didn't get caught for drug dealing, no. And like, and every drug dealer gets caught for drug dealing, especially after 2.5 years in the game, you know. But nope, I never got caught for dealing, nope. And I, like, you know, and I'm a good criminal. I would say I'm skilled, like this dude, the roof man. Not violent though. And I've gotten away with everything I ever did, unless I wanted to get caught, which is so stupid. I got caught for things I didn't want to get caught for, but anytime that I was arrested, I submitted. Otherwise, I would have taken them on the chase. I've done that like 4 times too. I've taken them on the chase and got away 4 times. Well, I got caught one time when I was 17. Oh my God.
By, you know.
And I just don't want to submit to them, but sometimes I do. If I believe that their beef with me is actually legitimate, I will submit to them. I will take it like a man. I will go to jail. I will do my time and see my sentence and get my record ruined and all this stuff, right? If I believe that they've got a valid complaint against me, I will take it. Otherwise, I believe my business to be more important than everyone else's, and I don't know why I feel that way. I just do. It's always been sort of sickening like that. So I'll do whatever I want. I'll just skip a corner rather than going. I did knock on the door for 3 weeks before I actually entered that apartment. I knocked on the door while the dude was at work for like 3 weeks. I showed up every day for like 3 weeks and tried to get him at different times of the day. I'd never managed to do it. For 3 weeks, I knocked on that door. I couldn't get it. I tried to get that guy. I tried to talk to him for 3 weeks before I went in his house. You know, I kept knocking on the door. Finally, I was like, if there's nothing but a door between me and the cat, And I couldn't tell if the cat was in there. I was like, is the cat in here? I can't tell if he isn't. I want the information. I was there. I told him too. I was like, I'm there. I'm here to rifle. I told him what I was there to do. I was there to rifle through paper records in some kind of drawer, looking for veterinary records and figure out where they took the cat to and try to figure out through the veterinary office where the cat is. That's how deeply I would have gone, you know? It's like I traded away my best friend during wartime, and I would go back to the tiger pits to save him. You know, I would. I can't anymore. He's aged out. I never did save him. He aged out. He ended up in the care of my old friend, who my old roommate, and he lived a good, charmed, nice life. I believe this, and I know it to be true. But I still feel that I left him there, and now the idea sits in my head, and that's a regret that I have. It's a terrible regret that I left him there like that. But I mean, I needed some place to go. I had no options. I had no friends. Family did not have the grace or the ability to help me at that time. I just, I was not blessed with anybody helping me. It just wasn't like that at that time. And so when it came to the winter, I was like, okay, I can stay in this place for 2 more months until the fucking weather turns. And I gambled to try and get the second month. I had to gamble to do it, as in I went to Black Hawk, Colorado, and I raised $1,400 to get to the second month, because as it was, he was only willing to do like $1,000 for the cat, and that's only 1 month of rent. And I was like, well, I need 2 months of rent though, or I'll freeze to death. And he was like, yeah, but the cat's not worth $2,000. And I was like, yeah. He was like, I got to get another renter in here. I've got to get another renter in here. And he was right about that. He did. And I was like, okay. And so then, and I was like, what about 1,400? And he was like, okay, I'll do 1,400. Yeah, but I won't do $2,000. And I was like, okay. And I talked him to 1,400. And that's how I got through 1 1/3 of 2 months rent in the middle of the winter when I was going to freeze, when I had no help. And I had a car, but I didn't have a place to go. And you can't sleep in a car in Walmart in Denver winter. You'll die. Even with the heat, you'll fucking freeze to death. It wastes too much gas. You'll run out of gas, or you'll freeze to death, one or the other, or you'll get monoxide poisoning or something. It's just not wise. So I didn't have any money, and I didn't have a way to get myself out of the situation, and I was so depressed over like just everything. Like I was just depressed. I wasn't depressed. I was depressed over working for 7 years and still ending up in the streets. I guess you could call it depression, but it was actually sadness. I was never depressed. I would wake up every day smiling and be like, I'm great. I'm doing good. Let's go get high or go party or whatever. I was like, woke up and I really loved my life. I was not an unhappy person, but I was a very, very sad person, because I feel that they had let me down when I needed that, when humanity in almost every single way had let me down in every single way that they could. I needed their help in the depth of the winter in the Colorado Rocky Mountains. No, they cast me out in the streets. It was like I was raised to believe, I was raised in a town called Nazareth, Pennsylvania. I was raised in a town called Nazareth, Pennsylvania. And I fundamentally was raised like a fucking cat, or whatever, like a really Catholic person until I was like 12. And I know all the Vespers, and I know all the observations, and I know the Lord's Prayer, and I've read all the Bibles and everything. I've done all the Old and New Testament and all this stuff, and I imagine I probably could be a priest if I needed to. I know most of the stuff. I know the tenets and all that stuff, right? But I don't, I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know why it mattered. It's just I was raised to believe that there was I'm getting to the point. I was raised to believe that there was always room in the inn when it was really, really darkest, when it's the Dark Ages. That there's always room at the inn when it's the Dark Ages. When the Dark Ages came, they were like, no, you as an American will most likely freeze to death in the streets of Denver. And I was like, I really need your fucking help. I cannot get a job because of my record. I cannot keep this apartment without your help. I can't get a job without an apartment and an address. And I need your fucking help. I need another, like, at least, like, 3 months of federal unemployment so I can pay my rent while I try and find a job. And I applied to 200 places. And they pull my record and they see that I have a deferred adjudicated felony when I was 17. And they start there, and then they move through the other 27 fucking charges, and they're like, no, we are not hiring this criminal. That's my fault. That is not the country's fault. But I mean, that is the actual reality of the situation. That's what it was like for 10 years. Eventually, I had to just take a job as a taxi driver because that was one of the few places that would still let me work there, with my record. Because my record was so old, but anywhere else they just run the background check that'll pay more than $10 an hour. It will just run the background check. They will see an old fucking deferred adjudicated felony for possession of ecstasy, and they will be like, nope, and that was when you were 17. Now you're fucking whatever, 33 or something. How bad are you now? That's what they think when they look at the resume, and it's still like that too. Because I can't get that cleared. I can't get that cleansed off my record. The Canadian border digs it up, and like they'll dig up both those things, and they'll stop me at the border, and they'll be like, yeah, we can't let you in the country. This has happened to me like 10 times, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's weird, but they're like, we can't let you in the country because you have a deferred adjudicated felony when you were 17 for possession of ecstasy, and then you have an old selling marijuana beef. I sold marijuana to a cop, to an undercover cop at a rave when I was like, I don't know, like 22 or something like that. And that one was just a year of unsupervised probation. They didn't want me. The system didn't want me. They didn't want me to do jail time. They didn't want to charge me money even. They just gave me a year of unsupervised probation to prove to the community that they did something about me trying to sell weed to buy a ticket to a rave. And I sold weed to an undercover cop who was younger than me. I was 22, and this fucking piece of shit pissant 19-year-old fucking undercover cop fucking rolled me for selling fucking weed in the fucking parking lot at Hydra, which was a rave in Denver at the Ogden Theater. I got busted that day at Hydra. I'll never forget it. And I had to go to jail for 2 days. It was insane why they figured out what to do with me. And then they realized that I was just trying to buy I was selling weed so I could buy a ticket to a rave. It wasn't like I was some drug dealer. I was just selling weed so I could buy a ticket to the rave. The ticket to the rave was $100. I didn't have it. It was between the pill and the tickets to the rave, it was $140 to go to a rave back then. And so I sold weed in the parking lot to do it. And on my last customer, I sold to a kid who was younger than me, which I'll never forget. Somebody from my own generation who was only 3 years younger than me fucking sold me out. He was 19 when he did it too. Fucking young, fucking 19-year-old cop. Fucking like, and on top of it, he had put drops in his eyes to make his eyes look big. Or he just got high, one or the other. The reason I sold to him, I'm not stupid. I look him in the eyes. If they don't have dilated pupils, they're not a druggie. Then I'm not gonna sell to them, right? That dude was cashed out. His eyes were like huge. He was rolling on something, or they gave him dilated eye pupil stuff, something. I'm not sure what it was. But when I saw his eyes and I saw that he was younger than me, I was like, "There's no way he's a cop." But oh yeah, you will definitely get rolled at the. It happened to me. You will get rolled at the age of 22 by a 19-year-old cop. It happens. It happened to me. I Jesus Christ. You might think that just because they're young or the same age as you or younger than you or they're high that they're not a cop, but no, that could very well definitely be a cop. That's what happened to me. It was stupid. And I was like, oh my God, dude, are you rolling balls? And he wouldn't answer the question.
You have that amount of time.
Like I was like, your eyes are so big. How are you a cop? That's another dirty bit of business they did to me. They rolled me using like either eye drops. I view it as kind of like entrapment or something like that. They put eye drops in his eyes, or they just let him eat pills. Probably let him eat pills, honestly. Probably ate pills so he looked like a raver, honestly. And I got rolled by a cop that was on ecstasy, or he just had eye drops in something. One or the other, but his eyes were fucking huge. I looked him in the eyes like I always do. Every time I ever sell drugs to somebody, I look them in the fucking eyes. And I'm like, what's the deal here? Is it a cop? And you can tell deep down in that person's soul if they're lying or not. And this kid was rolling balls, and so I fell for the trick. I still to this day believe he was rolling balls. Yeah, I want to believe that he had eye drops in. But no, he was so smooth with it. I think he was so high. I think he was good at what he did, and I think he was super fucking high.
While it looked as if Ruthman had made yet another rapid success.
Fucking cops getting high. Isn't that kind of against the rules or whatever?
Exit from the crime scene.
Isn't that kind of entrapment or something? It's not entrapment, but it's close to it. It's like they dummy up and they use a costume to go hunt criminals. But that's not how justice works in this system. You need just cause. You need sorry, what is it called? Probable cause. You need probable cause to go roll somebody. You can't just go hunting criminals in this country. We really don't like vigilantism, even if it's the cops. You know, we want the cops to respond to things. We don't want them out hunting like sharks looking for blood in the water. That's what happened to me that day. And that's another reason why I hate them.
Oh, juiciers and a chicken.
Fucking feel like they violated my civil rights with a lie, pretty much, or I never would have done that. And so now when I cross the Canadian border, sometimes they're like, oh, you can cross, you're fine. Other times they're like, you have this charge from 24 years ago. Or whatever. It's like, whatever it is. They're like, yeah, you have this charge from 17 years ago or something, I think it is. And like, it's only getting older, and we don't care that you did this, but you can't cross because you look like a criminal, and we don't want American criminals in Canada, which is kind of insane. Yeah, that's happened to me like 5 times.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
But
But then they've also let me through like 200 times, so I don't know. It's like sort of weird. It's not like I'm breaking the law by going there. I don't have anything pending. It's just sometimes they seem to really care about my past. Sometimes they don't. And I'm not going to volunteer. Hey, I did about 28 crimes when I was younger. You can look at the rap sheet if you want. I'm not going to volunteer that at the border. You know what's going to happen.
been unaware.
Gonna get tagged up at the border for 5 fucking hours. So I just sit there at the Nexus line or whatever, not the Nexus line, but they won't let me do Nexus line. I have to go through the slow border, and oftentimes they like, and it sucks when they do this, right? Because then they tell you to come inside. If you don't come inside, they're going to chase you, right? They're going to chase you. They're going to assume that you're some bad actor and that you got drugs or you're some kind of smuggler or something if you don't come inside. So you come to the border and they're like, well, sir, we're not detaining you. We're going to tell you about something that we found that we don't like, but we need to talk to you in an office to do so. So we're going to invite you to park your car and come into the border office and talk to us willingly right now. And you get in there and they're super Canuck nice and they're like Canadian nice to you. And they're like, haha, they're all jolly and happy. And they're like, how you doing today, sir? We're terribly sorry to inconvenience you and all this. But yeah, you have a charge for selling marijuana to a police officer 24 years ago. And yeah, we really can't let you in the country today. I'm terribly sorry. And that's all we have to say to you. And if you don't have to tell us anything, we would like to just say goodbye to you now. and you're like, yeah, you guys have a nice day. I'm terribly sorry. And you just turn around. And they're like, you can go out by going out through that line. And they're like, go out through the line. Then they know you're coming. And we're not going to hassle you or search you or anything like that. We just can't let you across the border today. We don't trust you. You're an old American criminal with a past. And I'm like, okay, that's very fair. You have a nice day. It's almost like South Park. It's almost like, you know, it's almost like clinical. It's like that one they did recently about navigating the American healthcare system, navigating getting getting bumped at the border because you have an old marijuana charge. It's not anything about anything new. They know about all the new things. They don't care about that. They care that I sold marijuana to a cop 24 years ago or whatever it is. Said 20 years ago, whatever it is. And that's okay for them to care about that. I understand why they care about that. But that's the one out of all the 28 charges, that's actually pretty much the lightest one. But that's the one that they bounce me at the border for sometimes. Other times they're just like, oh, we're not even aware that you have a problem or anything. And they just let you on through. They're like, have a nice day. And I'm like, okay, I assumed that I would have something where I would talk to them because every time I go to the border, I ask them, like, do you have an issue with me? I literally asked the guy at the fucking the toll booth. I'm like, do you have an issue with me today? And he's like, what do you mean? Well, several times I've been bounced at this border because you don't want me to come into Canada. So I'm telling you, that's happened before. And so I'm asking you, are you cool with me crossing? And they're like, yes, we are. And so I don't know. But then later on they'll be like, no, and they'll cancel you. And on top of it, it takes 25 minutes to see them in the office. So you have to park it at the office and wait 25 minutes or something like that to see some border guard who dismisses you in 10 seconds, right? But it does suck, you know. So you have to sit there for like 25 minutes on an uncomfortable ass metal chair while you feel nervous and you're at the border and you don't know what could happen. You feel like they could take your passport away or something just for trying, you know, and you're like, oh no, they could take my passport away and I might not be able to get back into America for 3 months and I'll get stuck in some crappy jail cell like they do to the Dreamers, you know. But I've gone through that scary experience like 7 times or something like that, and like 5 of the times they bounced me, but the 2 of the times they just let me through. They were like, okay, you don't have anything, and I'm like, okay, cool. But then later on they were like, yes, you do. You have this old thing that we do care about, and I was like, okay. And they're like, at no point will we ever detain you. You did your time with this. You have no criminal record. I mean, you have a criminal record, but there's nothing pending or anything unless you did anything. They're like, at no point will we ever hassle you about this. This is an old charge from 24 years ago. We will not ever use it to judge you or anything like that, but they're like, but we do, well, we will judge you if you try to cross the border. We don't want criminals from America coming to Canada and using Canada as some kind of safe refuge, right? Which I feel about really pretty much about the same way about Canadians, really. I don't really want Canadian criminals coming here. I don't want trailer park boys coming here, and I don't want our trailer park boys going there. I think criminals should stay in the country that they're born in, frankly. I think it causes all kinds of terrible snafus when you don't, you know. So anyways, yeah. And so that's my little story about that. It's just funny, like all of this stuff that there was like not a lot of reason why any of this needed to happen. It just did. And it costs me all the time. It costs me.
That the alarm had been raised, he was equally unaware that the police were already...
So they finally catch the roofman because he pisses off the wrong McDonald's employee who literally hits a silent alarm while the dude's got him at gunpoint, which is crazy. At that point, you've angered the populace so much that they put their lives at risk to defend a corporate entity that honestly they probably don't like that much. I've never met a McDonald's employee who actually liked their boss. Maybe some of them do. I'm sure it happens. But like overall, like, you know, I doubt most of the McDonald's workers are that happy with their job, you know, while they're there in that tenure, you know. So like it's weird to see somebody defend the corporate entity by blowing the silent alarm and technically putting your life at risk by doing so. Because if the cops roll up, the criminal's gonna be like, you pushed the silent alarm, you fucking fucker. You stuck me in jail for 20 years. Blah, blah, blah. You know, that's what I would say. I mean, if the cops were to show up 90 seconds into a robbery, I'd be like, you hit the silent alarm when I fucking didn't tell you to. When I told you not to, I told you I would kill you if you hit the silent alarm. You did it, didn't you? Because the cops wouldn't have found us otherwise, right? And like, it's the middle of the night. I'm robbing you through a hole in the roof, which is why they call him the roof man. They weren't going to be here unless you silent alarmed. And I warned you I would kill you if you silent alarmed. And I probably would. I would probably kill the human being because at that point, they're defending McDonald's. The whole point of robbing McDonald's is that probably nobody really likes McDonald's, so nobody cares if you rob them. So one of the reasons why he was robbing them so successfully, got away with it like 60 times, is people probably don't give 2 shits if you rob a McDonald's. They make so much goddamn money anyways, right? So like, you know, so it's an interesting thing. But then he comes across a good Samaritan who just doesn't believe in robbery so much so that they put their life at risk by tripping the silent alarm. And then honestly, I would never do that as the employee. I would never ever do that. Now, you probably aren't thinking right in the moment, right? It's easy for me on the outside to have a nice, clear, concise, very narrow, almost John Nash look at what the ins and outs of armed robbery would be in terms of the socio-political, or like almost the sociological aspects of it. Is why would the employee put their life at risk by condemning the criminal to guaranteed jail? Because in the criminal, and honestly, the victim is not thinking correctly about this. I really do believe this, and the criminal's probably terrified of this, that the victim doesn't really think about this correctly, right? Honestly, as a criminal, I would be very polite to them as I stuck the gun in their goddamn face and terrified the shit out of them with the actual goddamn like conviction that I would kill them if they fuck with me, right? And I would be like, look, you're gonna want to hit a silent alarm or call somebody or turn your cell phone on or something like that. Let me be here for 3 minutes. I'm going to leave. You know, McDonald's is covered by insurance. You don't need to fuck with me. If you trip the silent alarm or cops come here at all, not only will I kill you right here, but I will kill your family after I escape this place and shoot out with the cops. And that's what you say. It sucks, but but you say it and you state it, and you look in their eyes. You let them know that you mean it too. That if an alarm is raised and the cops show up there and condemn you to 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 years in prison for armed robbery, yeah, when I get out, that motherfucker, I'm probably gonna kill you for snitching. You don't hit that alarm, right? It's honestly dangerous for the employee to hit the alarm. The employer warns them not to. I don't even know why the alarm's technically there. I think it's there for like 3:30 in the morning when the manager's there alone, when they don't want to be, but they have to because the job kind of calls for it sometimes, right? And so they need some way to let the cops know that they're being robbed when they're alone. But honestly, hitting the alarm while the criminal is there, to me, is like a guaranteed goddamn death sentence. And the victim in the moment probably isn't going to think about that. They're just going to think, oh, the right thing to do is hit the alarm. That's what I'm doing. I'm hitting the alarm. I'm being the hero. I'm hitting the alarm. Now I'm standing here and waiting for the dude to finish the robbery and let the cops deal with it, right? But honestly, the victim really shouldn't think of it that way. The victim should be thinking about how they are death sentencing that person, essentially. I mean, that 40 years in jail is like a death sentence to that criminal. So the criminal is going to shoot them if they do it. If I hear goddamn sirens, right, as I'm robbing you, if I'm robbing you at gunpoint, I would never do that. I would never rob somebody at gunpoint. I'm just not that sick. I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in terrorizing other human beings. I really don't believe in using guns to get what you want. I really don't. I don't believe in using violence to get what you want. I definitely am a pacifist in a sucker-ass way. Like a pacifist of the Gandhi ilk. I'm a pacifist of the sucker-ass way. I've walked away from fights, that I should have won, I don't care. I just don't believe in violence like solving the issue. So yeah, as I'm robbing you and I've got the Tech 9 stuck up in your goddamn snooty McDonald's face, I'm gonna tell you to your fucking face, if I hear sirens, you're dead for right now. You're dead. If I hear sirens, you're dead. And then you can say it in four fucking. You can say it in five words, and it very much convinces the person, right? If I hear sirens, you are dead. It's 7 easy words, and look them in the eyes when you say it. If I hear sirens here before I leave this place, you are fucking dead. You can say it with conviction. I will blow your fucking brains out here in front of God and everybody with no shame. If you condemn me to between 20 and 40 years in jail for pressing a silent alarm or anything like that, if you try to act like a hero and blow the silent alarm or try to stop me, I will absolutely fucking kill you for ruining my life for 40 years, and I will come back and I'll ruin your family's life too. And then this is what you need to say when you're robbing them, and you need to say it fast too. I'm not trying to educate people how to do it too. I'm saying that that is what every criminal should do. There's a whole proper aspect to robbing somebody. If you're just like, I got a gun in your face, what are you going to do? Give me your money? They're going to fucking press the silent alarm. You're going to get caught by the cops. You're probably going to kill them and the cops. It's like the silent alarm is actually really not the proper thing for that situation. It's not the proper thing. It pretty much commits the criminal to doing something really nasty, like fighting the cops or fighting you, right? Or thank God that this guy was actually supposedly, I don't think anybody sticks a gun in somebody's face as a gentleman ever, but apparently he's a gentleman because he just submitted to the police. He didn't fight anybody. He didn't kill the fucking snitch. He didn't do anything, right? But the guy did snitch on him. He blew the silent alarm. If you snitch on me while I'm in this McDonald's, I will sure as fuck fucking kill you, and I'll kill your fucking family when I'm done. And that's how you guarantee it, right? That's how you guarantee it to them. That I mean, I've never done it. I've never done anything like that. But this is what the robbers do, and this is what they say. This guy was not like this. This guy was a pussy. He was like literally negotiating with the people. You don't negotiate with these fucking people. They're not McDonald's. They're the McDonald's employee. You get them in the freezer ASAP, and you warn them, if I hear a silent alarm or a fuck, you better pray that the cops don't find out I'm here. If they do, you're dead. It's simple like that. You better pray that the cops don't find out I'm here right now, or you're fucking dead. I don't leave witnesses. And you say it in a way that really convinces you. You say it while you have the gun in their fucking face, and you say, you better pray that I don't hear sirens, or you're fucking dead. It's a simple thing, But criminals are pussies. They're often pussies. He's off dreaming his fantasy about drilling some holes in the roof like MacGyver or something like that. And I have some respect to people that take that kind of approach, actually. I think it's actually much more respectable than, well, I mean, this guy stuck guns in people's faces, too. He was not a good criminal. He was a terrible man.
As he prepared to make his next move, he was spotted attempting to reach his vehicle in a nearby church.
How soon till you accidentally shoot somebody? How soon till somebody makes a play for the gun and you end up shooting them, maybe getting shot yourself? How soon till a bullet goes through a wall and kills a kid or a hostage? It's just goddamn stupid. It's like guns don't help the situation. Honestly, the successful robbers don't bring them. They bring a note, and they're like, understand, if you don't give me this money right the fuck now, I will kill your fucking family right now. And then, yeah, the teller at the bank, they give the money over. They're trained to give the money over, and they might put ink packs in there. But on the note, if it's a smart bank robber, on the note says, if there's any ink packs or any business, or if I hear a siren, I will not only kill you, I will kill your family. And they look in your eyes and they can see immediately that you're not lying. They read the note and they're like, oh shit, he's not lying. And then they empty the drawer and they don't put the ink packs in it because they know that you'll come back and kill their fucking family. This is how bank robbers actually get away with bank robbery. They never mention this part. So bank robbers are like painted as like these sympathetic fucking like you know, Robin Hoods or something like that. They're like viewed with almost a glamorous bent in America. But no, often it's actually that they're threatening much further than other criminals. They're threatening to murder the families of the victims of the randos at the bank that they're robbing. Then that's generally how they get away with it too. They scare the person so bad that they don't even call the cops for 10 minutes, and then by that point you're full blown at home. You're probably, if you're a smart criminal, you're full blown at home with your airtight alibi and a different set of clothes and a different set of makeup and a different, you know, fake nose and a different ID and a different city and a different state and a different country. Like literally 10 minutes later, something like that, if you're really good at it. And I mean, not 10 minutes, but 10 hours, call it, within 10 hours, you are literally gone. Like if you're actually a good criminal. And this is one of the reasons why I've stayed away from it for so long. It's not that hard for me to dedicate to something like this, so I don't, you know. I have opposition authority. That often led me to believe that I might need a life of crime because I can't have a boss, you know. So that's sort of, you know, I can't really be told what to do. I can't fucking handle it. Like I didn't want to tell my trio why I left them. And I will say it on the stream very, very sparingly because I felt like it really hurt their feelings. And I feel terrible about leaving that trio. I really do. But they were expecting me to do something, and I can't handle that. I can't handle them coming home to a certain base at a certain time. I can't handle that. You know, I'm just not like that. You can't tell me what to do. You know?
I was chased again into the woods.
I'm gonna walk out that fucking door, go roaming if I want. I'm gonna sit on mortal and do nothing if I want. You can't tell me what to do. There's not really. That just does not fit my reality. You know. So often I looked at stuff like this, and I began to realize that no matter what, the successful criminals don't leave witnesses. And that implication is so nasty. It is a sufficient enough argument to sway me off crime forever, ever again. Good criminals, they don't leave witnesses. And so, yeah, like this guy, he didn't want to leave a witness, but he did. He left thousands of witnesses, probably.
Woods. But this time, the roofman was caught. Yeah, if they know his car, if they find him going up to a car, they're going to search that car. They're going to get DNA. They're going to find out, I don't know.
See, this guy would be a good criminal. He thinks about it right. Like, for instance, one of the ways that I got away with, like, I've committed something like 150 crimes, but I've only ever been tracked for 28 of them or something like that. And one of the ways that I get away is I just don't make any mistakes. I don't leave anything open. Like, even when I was 15 and I committed the game store robbery, full-blown game store robbery, I mean full-blown burglary, like full-blown game store burglary, stole every last console that they had and all of their Nintendo 64 used games that were, you know, $30 a piece, and all of their Dreamcast new games, and all of their Dreamcasts, and all of their PlayStation 2s, and all that stuff. And I was such a video game addict that I knocked over the game store, and I'm not fucking proud of this, but I did. And I'm far beyond the statute of limitations on that. Not only that, I also worked for that store. I worked for that store and blood, sweat, and teared for that store. I worked for that store for 2 years as well, and so did all my friends. And it was just kind of funny. And while I'm not proud of this, I will tell you that when I executed it, I did it with only a few days planning. I didn't leave any evidence of a drawing or anything like that, or anything about that. I didn't even think about the entry till I got there. I went with my instincts the entire fucking way, and I straight scot-freed that one. I don't think they even like knew. I was working at the place at the fucking time, and I don't believe they have been robbed so many times by other kids like me that it was like par for the course for the GameStop. That like literally I was robbed on shift with another dude who was there, and when they came to the back door, he came running back when he heard the alarm go off. He saw them through the fucking door. He shut the door again and fucking locked it with like locked the hard bolt. He called the cops and he was like, okay, we sit here and we lock the store. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, this is the procedure. It happens all the time. And I was like, people rob the game store all the time? And he's like, yeah, people rob the game store all the time. People are addicted to video games. They will do anything for it. And I was like, yeah, why not rob the game store? And that's how I did it. That's how I ended up getting onto it. I was like, well, if people rob the game store all the time, why don't I rob the game store all the time? God damn it. I did. If I wasn't stealing, shoplifting, I was stealing as an in-store employee. My boss was the manager, and he let me steal. He was planning on us stealing. He was like in his plans to steal. That's my best friend. It was his plan to steal those games. We were in there to rob the joint. Frankly, he wasn't there to rob them, but he was actively robbing them and very happy to do so, and would not stop doing so unless they caught him. He was actively taking every game he could. He was, like we had full-blown game addictions. Like, I don't think heroin addicts can even understand it, really. It compels you to do crazy things like what I did. Like, and understand that, yeah, so now, so yeah, and that whole story is funny because I did it surgical, though. I sustained an injury, which was not surgical. And I left blood on the counter, but I was not in the system, so the blood didn't matter. They couldn't do anything with it. And at that time, I was only 15 years old. They did not have my blood, and they didn't for another 7 years either. So, like that, and so the robbery wasn't even for that much. It was like maybe $3,000. I think I didn't get any cash. Definitely didn't get any cash. I got some cash from it, but because I sold some of the consoles, but I did not. I sold them all to my best friends for $50. The consoles were $500. I played Robin Hood with the Dreamcast console. I stole like 50 Dreamcasts, and I played Robin Hood with them. I sold them all to my friends for $50 a piece, and I was like, well, I got to get something so I can continue to buy games. That's what I told them. I was like, I would just give you this Dreamcast because I know you want it so badly, but I got to charge you $50 because I need to buy games. That's literally what I used to say to them, because I need to buy Final Fantasy X, and it's $60 and I don't have it. I just robbed the game store, but I have a full-blown gaming addiction, so I don't have any money. I spend all of my time gaming. So yeah. So and literally, I would tell them as I sold them, I got to charge you $50 for this because I even though I robbed the game store, I still have to buy games from the game store and for a lot of money at an age where essentially I would need a full-time job paying me $25 an hour to be able to pay for the amount of games that I want to buy. That's how bad the addiction was back then. It still is. It's not changed. I would still rob the game store if I had to. I don't care. I don't care. I still would do that. I don't care. Like, whatever it is to keep doing this. I don't know what it is. It's not a passion. It's a compulsion. And I love it, and I've never ever stopped doing it. Oh, I did stop doing it actually for about 5 years actually one time. I mean, I did play PlayStation a little bit here and there, but I mean, I didn't really have a home for 7 years, so I did not have a video game system. I had a laptop that I barely used. I was worried about being homeless,
I feel like if you're robbing somewhere and you use a card...
Like, I did not play MMORPGs for 7 years of my life, but I did for the other fucking 24 years that I was an adult or whatever. So yeah, was that like the other 17 years of my adulthood, I was an avid gamer, and I would do anything to attain that. Anything at all. I would definitely probably kill another human being, not like a desire to, just that's how deep the desire to do this goes. You know, I don't want to do those things, and I'm not proud of that desire or whatever. Not desire, but that desire to absolutely continue doing this. You know, I that's how much of a passion I have to do this. When you really love what you do, you'll do anything. It doesn't matter what it is, you'll do anything. If you're John Lennon and you're in the Beatles, you'll do anything. You'll take drugs, you'll follow the Maharishi, you'll you know, it doesn't matter. You'll marry Yoko, it doesn't matter. You'll do anything you can to just keep that shit alive and going, what you care about, what you really love. It doesn't matter.
That's got to be
And this passion of mine has always been so strong that yes, I would stick. You know, I would stick up somebody for their games. I definitely would. You know, I hate to say it, but I would. You know, it sucks. Like when you want something that badly. Nowadays, I'm blessed with the respect that they don't make good games anymore. Or I would be in this terrible, terrible situation where I couldn't afford all of the single-player games that I want to play, like good RPGs, right? Like imagine if they suddenly released Fallout 6, Elder Scrolls 6. Is it Fallout 5? I guess it's Fallout 6. Fallout 6, Elder Scrolls 6, WoW 2, and all these other games that came out, right? All of a sudden, and I suddenly needed to buy like 50 single-player games because they suddenly started making good games again. This would be a financial disaster for me, and I would be back out on the streets fucking like hustling or dealing drugs or working a full-time job doing something driving me crazy that's going to end me up in the madhouse again or something like that. I don't know what it would be, but it would be doing something. I can't work, so I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it would be. You know, so now I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, like I'm like this guy. I think all the time about the risks that I'm taking. You know,
you can't just be
like I used to really love to gamble for $60. I used to go to the casino with $60 because the fact that you don't have any more money and don't have a credit card locks you out. It just locks you out. You can't. It's not like you can go charm somebody for $100. You probably could sell a blowjob or something, which I won't do. But like, you know, but honestly, you're not going to get any more money to gamble if you didn't bring it. It's honestly not going to happen. You have to conjure a fucking credit card out of your butthole. That's not going to fucking happen. You're going to go home. You're going to drive home. You don't have a credit card. You don't have cash, right? And often I don't go home. I often leave the casino with it. Well, not often, but like when I do go to the casino, I sometimes leave with like $1,000 because like, you know, but I only ever come with $60 because I know what the risk and the loss is, and I'm okay with losing the $60. And I do everything else in my life like this too. I'm a very risky person. I like taking risks. I'm a very, you know, kind of adrenaline rush, what's the word? Chaotic neutral person that likes fun and chaos and stuff like that. I like letting my instincts take me through something as opposed to planning it.
Using your car. Although stealing a car is a whole...
That's another thing. That's another reason why I don't do a lot of crime, is every single time that you have to do a crime, you either have to do one of two things. You have to travel, which means either public transport, private transport, a car, or foot, right? And all four of those options are bad. All four of them. And it's like the only one that I like is leaving on foot. And honestly, I all the time, if I were ever thinking about doing robberies, I would only ever do like break-ins, never full confrontation of a staff or anything like that. I don't want violence involved, right? And so I'm going to hit, like I literally did plot to rob the U.S. Bank, and I got very close to doing it. I got very close to robbing the U.S. Bank that was across the alley from me. And I was like, well, all I have to do is... walk in, leave, like stick a note in the fucking person's face threatening to kill their family if they don't hand me their fucking, like, all of their drawers. And then as I exit the bank, I run down the alley, I cut through the neighbor's backyard, and I run into my basement. They're never going to know you live there. They don't know that you live 80 feet away. They're not going to figure that out. I think it's actually the best. I came so close to doing that. I came so close to doing that. I would lie in bed for weeks on end with the broken ribs, and I thought about robbing that fucking bank with nothing but a piece of paper and getting myself, like, you know, maybe $5-10 grand, enough to get me out of that situation, out of that place where that guy was trying to kill me, kicking in my door and beating the shit out of me, beating me up against a brick wall almost every day, and all that shit. It was just a terrible situation for no reason at all. And like, you know, and I got to this point where I came so close to doing that. I was like, I'm going to run down the alley. I'm going to ditch the clothes in the dumpster. or whatever. No, I'm going to burn the dumpster. I'm going to ditch the clothes in the dumpster. I'm going to burn it. I'm going to run down the alley, and I'm going to leave on foot away from the cameras, and I'm going to blind all the cameras in the alley, like an hour before. And I came so close to doing that one. I was like, what if I rob a bank that's only 800 feet away? It was 800 feet away. It was not far at all. It was like 800 feet. It was not far. It was like walk out my back alley door, and I'm literally looking at the back door of the bank, you know? And I was like, oh my God, I easily could just rob this bank and they would never ever know because I can just run in my back door. And then the cops aren't there. I mean, if you're in and out in 50 seconds or something like that, you come in, you show them the fucking note, you're in and out, and they're not aware until the teller is saying that we just got robbed, right? And you've left the bank, and they've taken the note, and they've handed you the money, and they've been quiet about it and all that. And hey, barring them, my only real problem with it, one of the reasons I didn't do it, is I was like, well, I'll have to secure some kind of tool that I leave in the parking lot that will shatter the front door if they try to lock the front door on me when I'm leaving. And that front door was a problem because, as I remember, it wasn't barred, but it was good, thick glass. It would have taken a spark plug or something to break it. Like, I don't know, or no, it's bulletproof glass. So I don't know. I don't think, that was a conundrum for me. I was like, how do I break that door? I'd have to put a truck through the window or something like that. How would you break that fucking door? I was like, a sledgehammer might do it, but wheeling a sledgehammer near a bank is probably a bad idea, frankly. What are you going to do, walk up to the door with a sledgehammer? No, they're going to aggro to you as you're walking up to the door. They're already going to be picking up the phone as you swing the sledgehammer, basically. They're going to see you as you walk up to that door because it's clear windows and stuff. And as you, honestly, I thought about it as I was going to do the bank. I was like, do I break the door going in? But no, I want to do a banknote robbery, and my worst fear is that they'll just lock me in here when they decide that I don't have a weapon. So I was like, how do I break the window out if they try to lock me in? I couldn't figure it out. I was like, I don't believe. I guess you could carry a spark plug in your fucking pocket, but the problem is if you're turning around to spark plug the fucking door, the bank pig shoots you. The bank pig always is going to have his gun unless you take it away from him. If you're robbing with a banknote, you're not trying to even let them know that you're robbing the bank. So I mean, like, if the guy knows that you're there, you're locked in. I guarantee it, you're locked in. You're not getting out of that bank. You're not getting out. So and that's the problem, and that was the problem I couldn't get past. I was like, nope, something bad will happen. They will lock the door. I will try to break it with a fucking, I'll try to break the door with a fucking, with some tool that isn't going to work because it's a bulletproof glass door, and I don't have the knowledge to break a bulletproof glass door very easily. I'm sure, I'm sure the same principles apply like a spark plug, but I'm not sure though. I'm not sure about bulletproof glass. I'm not so sure that's like that. So I was like, how do you defeat the door? But I mean, as for getting away with it scot clean, I had solved that part of it. You want to rob a bank? Move in 500 feet away. I just happened to do it by mistake, right? I was like, wow, I never thought about this, but oh my God, I could easily do a 4-second run from the back door to the neighbor's backyard, cut through the front yard, ditch my clothes in a dumpster and switch costumes while I'm running through the alley and shit, and then just walk down the fucking sidewalk like I'm coming home and walk in the front door of my house with a satchel, and they're not gonna know shit. You block the cameras on the neighbors' houses. You block the cameras in the alley. They're not going to know shit. They're going to be looking for a car leaving. Nope.
Or the crime.
That car's the big problem with crime. In order to do crime, if you have to do transportation, you need a car. If you need a car, you need to be a car thief. In my estimation, after working with several successful car thieves and having been in several car thieves, I've definitely stolen 3 cars in my lifetime. I didn't steal them myself. I just went along for the ride. And like, I don't know if you've ever stolen a car before, but it's rife with peril. It's just terrible. It's just scary. It's a really good rush, but it's scary. And and the problem with that is if you have to steal the car, it's really hard to steal a car. It's actually kind of hard, believe it or not. People steal cars all the time, but it's hard to successfully steal a car. They have VIN numbers, they have tracking, there's cameras everywhere. If you drive the car, you're going to be on public cameras, and they're going to see you. They're going to see you at the street lights in that neighborhood, A smart bank cop will tell the guy that you left on foot. They're gonna know that part of it. They're gonna know that you left on foot, and they're gonna be like, he obviously had a car, but it wasn't in the bank parking lot. It was somewhere else, right? So they're gonna search that fucking neighborhood, and they're gonna canvass, and they're gonna talk to the fucking neighbors, and maybe they saw you, maybe they didn't. But if you do it in the right time of day, I bet they did. I bet they don't. If you do it at like 10:15 in the fucking morning, no, most of the neighbors are at work, right? So that somebody might see you, but the chances of them drawing the correlation between the bank robbery and some dude that they see go in the house for years and years and years and years, they're not going to think that the neighbor robbed the bank. That's just not going to occur to them. And so honestly, proximity can sometimes literally really up your chances. If you literally live right next to something, that can be a really strong advantage for you. And I was intending to use it one time to rob a bank, and then I realized that I didn't want to terrorize the bank people. I didn't want to get in a square out with a rent-a-pig in the fucking bank. I don't want to fucking get in a shootout in my own neighborhood. I don't want to get a shootout in my own front lawn. I don't want to, and I don't have a gun. So I mean, back then I have a gun now, but I didn't have a gun back then. So I was like, well, I can't have a shootout with the cops. I don't own a firearm. I'm on probation.
Just further away, and he was like, no, you